Be pretty.
Welcome, welcome.
It
Fuzzsaw
It
Haley.
won't be pretty.
He's threatening me.
Yes.
It says huge tracts of land. What am I looking at? Jason,
Yeah.
how big is this model?
Well,
This is not even all of it.
yeah, that's not even the guns. The carapace guns. Here's what we've been painting.
I can't even. It's on a different. Oh my heavens. Good night. What an amazing. Hey, T. Schmid, thank you for that sub. Sup, nerds. Sup, Dave. Big
That's
purple.
a handful.
That's
a monstrosity.
All right, so this was primed in black, and then you hit some spots with royal purple, right?
Correct. Yeah, the armor spots I hit with royal
Okay, because a
purple.
lot of people have been asking about this black workup, so everybody pay attention today. Jason's going to kind of go through this whole shtick.
I started it otherwise because the primer alone took me over an hour.
I was just about to say, how did you not spray all over your models in front of you?
Well, I did the black in the warehouse.
Oh, you scare me.
And the purple here.
You scare me, mister.
Why?
Grease Monkey, hey, thank you so much for that sub. 5 months. Rocco, who do we got? Grease Monkey, Rocco, Muffin Truck, Fuzzsaw, Gilborn, Weedan, Silver, Sugar Rush, Sigavax, Odin Kane, Bernie, Brunar, 2 months. What's going on? Chaos Angel. We're painting up some. If you guys wanted Tau, we did Tau in the biggest way possible.
Yeah.
I think this is actually, well, besides
This is the biggest Tau model, next to the Manta.
Yeah, we don't count the Manta. That's
a vehicle.
That's a ship. This
That's
is
a vehicle.
a
Yeah,
stompy
that's a
robot.
flyer. This is not a flyer.
All right, so Jason, what do you where do we start with this thing?
At the beginning. You start at the beginning.
I've never had the yeah. Yeah, it's big.
It's like, yeah.
So, Jason, where do you start when approaching a model of this size?
At the top.
So you're just doing like a zenithal. What's this? What do you got in the airbrush here?
Pale yellow.
With special sauce?
Yep. Pale yellow, special sauce. We're just going for it.
And you're just hitting certain parts of it, yeah?
Well, I mean, I'm doing my standard, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Zenithal. And just kind of blending or fading things down from the top to get it that blend. It's going to be so hard to get the angles right.
That's okay.
You can kind of see what's going on.
Do.
You can kind of see what's going on.
We kind of get what you're doing. So
I've got the airbrush about 4 to 6 inches away from the model so that I'm getting a nice smooth blend, but it's allowing me quite a bit of leeway with how much opacity I'm putting on the model at any given time. So I can go over the same areas multiple times to get it right.
Jabe says, my butt is so clenched. I bet
Why?
Jason, what do you mean, why?
Why would you have a clenched butt for this? This is easy stuff.
Yeah, Gabe.
Jeez.
Sack-filled Baggins. I forgot what size needle uses. He uses a 3 most of the time, correct, Jason?
0.3, yep.
0.3, unless you want to do like smaller things, but he rarely uses anything else, right? Rarely?
Yeah, rarely.
And then it's 22 PSI for all of you who are going to ask that question.
That question.
Yes, 22 PSI, and this is pale yellow with special sauce and a little bit of water?
A little bit of water, yep.
A little bit of water.
Spritz. Just a spritz of water.
This is a good way to get a lot of quick results fast on a model of this size to keep your enthusiasm going. Right?
Yeah.
Stan says, you going to finish the Zenithal before the challenge review? Oh,
Yep.
He will.
Well, I say I will. I don't know. I'm going to try to. Right now, we're just going to continually hit the areas we can from up top. That's looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah,
So
Brew
pick this up.
Brewer. If you're not familiar, the special sauce mixed with any pro acryl color is amazing through the airbrush. You are going to ditch all your other stuff and just use that airbrush thinner or whatever that term I'm looking for is.
Yeah, exactly. Flow
Like,
improver, airbrush
just
thinner, all that.
any
It's just,
paint,
you're
just-
just done.
You're gonna love it. So, but yes, also it's amazing for other things too. This is pretty cool. We haven't even gotten to the dark blue black step yet. Zilfer says, Procro showed me how stupid airbrush paints are. As a product, why not just use the same paints for everything? Right, Zilfer? You got it.
Now you understand.
Now, why would we need to make another product that doesn't work for all your needs? There can only be one.
The idea of airbrush paints is ludicrous.
Ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous.
Jimmy is saying, what's going on? Welcome in, everybody. We're painting up some Tau. A lot of you have been asking about Jason's recent Tau Black Armor workup, so we're going to be kind of doing that. And by kind of doing that, we're doing it at its full potential. He base coated this with our black primer, and then did a lot of the bits with royal purple, and now he's got pale yellow with special sauce with a little bit of water through the airbrush. And it looks like you're just going for it.
Yep.
What's your rhyme or reason about parts you're hitting right now, Jason?
I'm just getting the upper sections where I know the brightness is going to be the greatest, and really hammering it home on these.
Yeah.
And blending away from them. So
You talk a lot about light direction. On a model this size, does it cast harsher shadows?
How do you mean?
Like, on itself, right?
yeah, oh yeah,
it's so
yeah. This
big.
thing's big enough to where it'll have a lot of dark spots, and you almost treat it more like a tank, where you get more dark spots on it just for the heck of it. Sometimes.
Yeah, for more character.
Yeah.
Yes, D-Fresh, it's a big boy. We can thin with water, no medium, all the time. Yeah, you could use water with PA as well through the airbrush.
100% of the time.
And Chuck, he was using, what's the ratio of undercoat showing through the top color? He's using pale yellow with, what's the ratio of this airbrush mix, Jason?
What do you mean?
Like, so how much special sauce to pale yellow?
About 50-50. I used a lot of paint though, so. But about 50-50 thinner to paint.
Bestie's asking when would you recommend getting an airbrush for a beginner painter? Great question.
When do you want to try it? Because as soon as you're ready to try it, I think it's a great thing. I don't think there's a need to really wait. I think it's more of a when you want to afford it. So if you're new in the hobby and you've spent the bulk of your budget on your paints, then don't worry about it. Save up some of your allowance and your payroll, and come back at it later. You don't have to have it day one. But by the same token, I think that having the ability to have one as early as you're willing to try it is great, because they're such a great tool for doing exactly the kind of stuff you see me doing here. Anything from priming, base coating, and creating all sorts of cool effects. But don't feel like you have to have it to feel like you can have fun painting. I'm doing some edge highlights here with it. Since this beast is so big, I can do some of the actual panel lines as I go.
Coxie says, hello, please help me. I was using an airbrush with Pro-Acryl black primer and the air was coming out. However, the paint was not. You got some kind of massive clog.
Yeah. Air's coming out, but
Clean
paint
it up.
isn't.
Yeah. That's something, that's not good.
Well, I mean, it's a typical problem, right? It means that you have a clog at the nozzle, and so the paint isn't being able to be drug out of the nozzle as the airflow goes around it. Because the air goes around the nozzle and creates a vacuum that pulls the paint through. So if you're only getting air and no paint, it means that the valve is obviously working, but your nozzle's clogged and not letting the paint actually get through. So.
Oh, okay. Great question, Be Fresh. I'm using Expert Sap Green as a final filter for Dark Angels Green. Using your mediums in water, could I use it in an airbrush to filter?
Oh yeah, 100%.
You just have to really thin it down.
Yep.
And Roadside, he also has used pistol grips in the past.
Yeah, I love a pistol grip airbrush. Mine's just super dirty right now, so I can't use it for much. I let it get clogged with paint.
Yeah, Ryan, yeah, he's using you're using your fingers to kind of just balance yourself?
Yep. Yep. You know, kind of get in and just kind of hold my hand so that I can keep a steadier look at it, because I'm doing multiple things here. I'm getting my zenithal, but I'm also going in and doing line work and panel highlighting and stuff.
Yeah.
And then more of the blended fade and stuff like that. So.
And Chuck's asking, when doing this, when covering the black and purple coat, how much coverage are you looking for?
Less on the top where the light is and more on the bottom where the light isn't, right? So you'll see as we work down the model that I have less and less of the, or more and more of the purple show as I go into the shadow areas. So maybe I'm getting some tip dry here. Leave the, there we go.
Stan's asking, have you ever done airbrush drawing on a canvas?
Yeah, I don't prefer it though. I'm a sketch artist anyway, so airbrush doesn't really give me much. When I go to paint things like album covers and stuff, the airbrush can be a really good tool. I don't do that much anymore, but I say much. I haven't done that in years, so let's not say I don't do that much anymore. I don't do that anymore. I might paint that a different color. You'll notice I'll hold the brush back further. This is about 5-6 inches away, and I'm doing this little area on the front of the shoulder, and then I'll get in closer as I want to brighten it up, right? Yeah. So that I get that blend the way I want it.
Papa Chicken's asking, I was thinking about using Pro-Acryl to paint my helmet. Any reason why I shouldn't? I was kind of worried about wearing off easily because it's acrylic.
As long as you clear coat it, you don't have a problem. I've done motorcycle tanks and all sorts of stuff, cars, with acrylic.
Yeah.
It's not about the acrylic, because you're putting like a 2K, like a speed clear or something over it if you're doing it that way, hopefully, and that helps a ton. So.
And Stan's asking, so with this airbrushing, how are you stopping it from going into the recesses? You painted over a couple and they're still dark.
I mean, I'm angling the brush, but the recesses can fill with color because, if a recess faces your light, it's not going to stay dark. So remember, you're always angling the brush as if it's the sunlight. And so if there's bright color that goes in a recess, it will be bright anyway. That's telling the truth, basically, right? Because the sunlight would go inside that recess and brighten it up. Not every line between panels should be dark. Those that face the light should be bright, and those that face away from the light should be dark. But I think a lot of people get carried away and think that, all my panel lines should be dark, and that's not the case.
Yes, it is, Drav.
What's that?
It's a beefy boy. He's a big, big boy. Shadowcast has a couple questions here. First one is, reaching the last highlight on a model, do you think it's better to use less opacity like a glaze or keep it opaque for highlights?
Run that by me again.
Yeah. Two questions about highlights. First one is, when reaching the last highlight on a model, do you think it's better to use less opacity like a glaze or keep it opaque?
No, you want it opaque. The highest highlights want to be opaque.
Gotcha.
Mainly so that you can get the vibrancy you need out of them without too much effort, right? If you go less than opaque, then you're going to wind up fighting yourself and needing to have it, go over that same little line or deet and doot, maybe 3 or 4 times. Whereas if you really go with an opaque color, then you only have to do that highlight once. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And then second question is how to figure out how big to make each layer on the model.
How big to make each layer?
Sorry, 1 second. I struggle with both and can't seem to wrap my head around it. Figure out how to make each layer on the model. How big?
You mean like how much space to take up with each color? Is that what you're asking me?
Maybe. I think that's what it is.
That's a great question, because you do need to have the ability to kind of dial in what you're doing to make sure that you don't, place too much of a color on the model, and wind up then with no space to put your next colors, right?
Shadowcast says, yeah.
So yeah, it's a great question. The fact of the matter is, it's going to depend on the model and the amount of space and how bright you want that area, right? I know that's not probably the answer you want to hear, but that's the way it is. Like on this model, I'm putting a lot more highlight than I would on other models because I have all this space, right? This guy's huge, so
yeah,
each layer is going to have way more color of each type than I would normally, just because of that, because I've just got so much space to work with. On a smaller model where you don't have this much space to work with, you have to be real careful. Otherwise, you wind up in a tight spot where you can't put all the colors you want to show up on the model
Yeah. Jason, could you come more towards the
No,
center?
I can't. You don't get to ask me with this model, unfortunately.
Do you want me to move the camera?
No, it's going to move all over the place. This model is, unfortunately, for the way it is visually, just up to me and not something I can change the way I hold.
Okay.
Right? It's just the shame of huge models is I have to be able to balance this thing and aim correctly. I can't do like what I do with a small model where I can kind of compensate much.
Yeah. Chai Cat, what's going on? Yeah, it's a big one. What's going on, Plump Crunchy? Taunar, yeah, it's a big boy. He's big. He doesn't even have the gun on him either.
He doesn't have the carapace guns on him. I've got the rail gun that is this huge freaking gun that goes over his right shoulder, and then the missile pod that's this big missile pod that goes over the left.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot to put on there. A lot of size to go. So on the reverse side, I don't want to have it just be dark. So we do a little bit of highlighting, but we don't do the highlighting near as intense away from our light source as we do on the other side.
Enthro says, do you think it's possible to create an effective medium with a lot of binder and resin to make your own primers? Interesting question.
Well, I mean, not really, because you're not going to be able to get the types of resins. I mean, if you have a supplier of resin, then sure. But I don't know how you're going to do that. You know, I mean, that's how we make primer. So the answer is yes. Can you do it? I don't know, because those are not commercially available things, right? You can't buy the necessary components to just make your own paint. You can buy other paints and mix them, and get your own primer out of it. But what are you trying to do? You just want a color that you can't find in a primer already? Is that what I'm hearing? I can totally understand that, if you want a particular primer color. We thought in the past of doing like a primer medium, but that doesn't really work very well. As soon as you add color to it, you break the special properties of the medium you've tried to create. Not break, but you know, you're adding different types of resins together, and that doesn't always work the way you want it.
The Scary Duck, he uses purple quite a bit over black. Dark purple, royal purple, regular purple.
Yeah.
All the purples.
Yeah, purple is my favorite shadow color by a long shot.
Is this thing just held together with super glue?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, he's pinned at the waist, but I haven't glued the waist.
Okay. Okay, so you pinned him at the waist.
Yeah, it's pinned at the waist so that it still turns. I mean, he's not turning really well right now, but...
T. Schmidt says primer medium would be amazing.
It doesn't work very well. It sounds amazing, but you know, the problem is that the resins are totally different between the paint and the primer.
It's kind of something you have
Otherwise,
to mix
it would
together.
just be paint, right? You just use regular paint as primer, which you can do, but it's not...
Well, you could always just prime something black and then do your entire base coat with your color, right?
That's the better idea. That's why you don't need every color as a primer.
Yeah.
Because you just simply take... black, because you want a dark shadow base anyway. Yeah. And then you go over that with whatever color you want, and you don't need colored primers very much. You know, purple, the greens, the browns, the red oxide, the stuff we have are very, very good for what you're looking to do generally, and you can mix those. But then pick one that is going to give you the, you know, the temperature, the color, and the tonality that you want, or just the value in case of black. And then put the other colors on top. The royal purple and the yellow that I'm doing right now are simply paints over the top of black primer. Right? I prefer the black primer coat, and then I even do the other colors of primer over the top of it in a lot of cases. Because the black ensures that all of my other colors, primer or not, regardless of the resin I'm using, they adhere to some of that darkness and really give me a good shadow base. Need more of the color.
Harry is asking, you probably meant time to do transparent airbrush filters after the highlight stage with standard Pro paints. Can you help me with good ratios from paint to thinner products?
Okay. Help me understand what we're looking for here.
Harry, I think you're asking how much you should thin our paints through the airbrush. Or transparents.
Just the transparent paint?
Yeah.
Well, thinning is not a here's how to do it answer. Thinning is a what do you want it to do answer, right? Like, what are you looking for opacity-wise? How much saturation of color do you want? Because you don't have to thin them at all if you want real punchy colors. If you're doing a filter and you want that filter to be super bright, then you know, you don't have to thin a whole lot. I tend to say thin about 50-50 with everything. That gives you a really good starting point. You know, there are worlds where 50-50 doesn't make sense, but I think that for most things, 50-50 is a great starting point. So with the transparents, you may want to go more than that because they're very saturated colors anyway. And so if they're too punchy, you may need to thin them more. So there's, you know, when we talk about thinning as a generality, one of the things that I always say is that it's always better to err on the side of too thin than not thin enough, because too thin can be layered up to get correct. Not thin enough is a problem because you can't take away layers of color, right? So if you're not thin enough, you're going to get way too much opacity on the project, and that's going to cause you problems. So think in those terms, and then kind of say, okay, well, I'm going to thin 2-to-1 to see where it is and where that gets me, and then maybe I adjust and only go, you know, 1-to-1, 50-50, if that's too thin and I feel like I want more opacity out of what I'm doing, right? What I'm doing here is just with pale yellow, and it's about 50-50, and then a little spritz of water, so a little bit more than 50-50, but I've got special sauce medium in here, 50-50 with the pale yellow.
And would you use glaze and wash to thin, or water, or something else?
Right now I'm using all of our special sauce, which is the new one-step medium. It is brilliant through the airbrush. So it's a new product, but glaze and wash medium works fantastic. So you may choose that. I want to get a little highlight on that leg, even though it's in the background, only because give it some dimension. You know, the problem with not doing any color on an area is that you're going to lose the depth, and the model wants to show you all the details. So there's a world where we're not trying to recreate everything perfectly. We're cheating a little bit of color on in areas so that we can show off the model. Let the model do have some fun. Like this toe in here would be pretty much completely in shadow from this thing, but I want to brighten up a little bit of that toe, just so we get it as a detail spot. Same with this one back here, although I'll just kind of lightly do it on this area of the foot, and then maybe getting a little bit closer to give a little bit of brightness on that. So. That looks pretty good.
Bugs is asking, isn't matte varnish essentially clear primer?
Can be, yeah. I mean, it uses, ours uses quite the same resin and works like a clear primer. So I always say if you're going to do something where you want to be like stained glass or, you know, paint something clear, that always do it with the matte varnish first. Right? Because that'll give you the ability to have a prime coat but not have to use a color, so you can still keep clear plastic windows and things like that in clear plastic.
Briar says, I'd love to see Jason paint a towel like an anime cell shading style one day.
It's really cool looking. We've done small figures like that. I always look at like the big Gundam where people spend what looks like inordinate amounts of hours painting that cell shaded movie style, and it always just absolutely looks beautiful to me. I usually run out of patience, to be honest with you. Once you get good at that, it can become very fast, but it's always such a interruption to my normal train of thought when I go in to do that it's really hard to get into the flow of making your models look that way unless you're doing it regularly. But kudos to the people that really commit to the bit.
Carnus is saying, how would you go about getting an intense, translucent, gelatinous appearance on a model? I'm trying to make one for my Ideneth creature look like a sea slug. I'm thinking translucent over fluo colors.
Okay. Translucent.
Gelatinous.
Well, the gelatinous is all about wet, and wet is all about shine, just like non-metallic. So when you're wanting wet look, it's about controlling that shine. And you can do that with, everything from gloss varnish if you want to, or by simply doing a non-metallic, like more of a bright reflection workup on the model itself. That's up to you as to where your comfort level is on painting that way. But those are the best ways to do that.
Captain Schmo, what's
Whether
going on?
Whether you use fluorescent or not is irrelevant. That's just going to be color.
Gloss varnish could be a cool way to get that slimy look.
Yeah, gloss varnish. Look. I use gloss varnish for stuff like wet looking eyes. If you have a open mouth on a Nurgle demon with like a lot of slobber, that wet look can be kind of cool and can be done with the gloss varnish. I don't use it very often, but in those cases it can be really fun. Do a little bit of shine lines down that. This model's really fun because it's so big that you can go very quick with the airbrush. I'm not having to get in as close and work these edges as I would with a Space Marine, because the Space Marine is going to be super tight lining. This one allows us to do some really cool panel lines very quick at this scale, which is neat.
Chuck, we'll see you in a little bit. Maybe even a clear water resin over it to give it that depth effect, maybe?
Well, I mean, all that's going to do is give you the shine. It can also give it some depth. I mean, it can look like it's, got layers to it, so that could work. I stay away from stuff like that because you lack control when you do that stuff, and it can wind up ruining a model as easily as it can make it look neat. Whereas the varnish is just a layer of paint. You can always correct that if you don't like it. All right, I think I'm pretty good.
Old gamer, this is a Tau Supremacy suit.
Probably want to do, just for effect, like we were talking about, more brightness down the front here.
Travel Cedric, thank you so much for that sub. 30 months. We appreciate it.
Something like that on the front. That's looking pretty good. There's our light source. So everything, people were asking, how do you get the variation? Well, from our light source where we're looking at it, here's the sun looking at the model. So all the purple stuff should be very low purple, high yellow. And then as we move around into areas that have less direct sunlight contact, then we get more purple until eventually on the back side, which is opposite of our sunlight, we get mostly purple, very little yellow. That's the idea. Okay? And same around the back, although there's not much purple on the back, and most of it's in shadow. I guess I could probably hit this leg, this back of the thigh a bit more. like so. Right. And there you go. And that's our zenithal. Pretty quick. Now we have to do a dry brush over the whole thing. That's daunting. Where's the DA1000 when you need it?
Right behind you, Jason. You could use it. It's a little dirty.
It's stuck together because nobody cleaned it. You
Yeah.
ruined my effect brush is what you did, and you never bought me another one.
Technically, you did.
That's not even half
Scientifically,
true.
you did.
That's not even half true.
We
You're
have-
just a liar who lies a lot.
We have video proof.
We don't. We have video proof of you
I'll literally put
with
it
a
in the chat.
really bad hair color job
Let me put it in
and
chat.
even worse tattoos.
He's talking about this stream where Jason came up with this new product. Let me get that to you guys
This
here.
is my life, chat.
La 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 la. It goes back quite a bit.
So the next thing we do is we dry brush a titanium white over the surface.
He's going to use a size 1 brush here.
And I'm going to use a DA1 for this. I'll use a BAB.
BAB.
And even it's probably too small for this guy, but it'll work. It'll work.
A BAB?
Yeah.
A BAB?
A BAB.
Because do you like the BAB because of that little, like, chiseled edge?
The BAB is straight.
I'm sorry, that's what I meant. Flat edge.
Flat edge, yeah.
Yeah.
Flat when you're trying to just grab edges. Dome dry brush when you're trying to grab more blended highlight. Like when you're doing a zenithal, use the domed.
Yeah,
When you're just wanting the edges, use a flat or an angled dry brush.
gotcha.
That's generally the 50,000 foot look at how and when to use the different dry brush types.
Blending.
You know what I would like for you to never do again is move my trash.
Move
what
your
I
trash can.
That's what I'd like.
I didn't move your trash can. I'm sorry. I did. I had
You
to take the
did move
trash
my
out.
trash can.
I took the trash out for you.
You did move my trash can. All right. So now we need some titanium white. I think I'm going to use the Expert acrylic titanium white.
Why
Dry
over
brushes
normal?
amazingly,
Oh,
and
Okay.
and wastes less paint because it doesn't fill the brush with as much paint,
well, you're gonna use a lot.
and you don't have to wipe off as much. And I have to have a lot of paint to do this. So
And it's gonna last longer on the palette, I would
Yeah.
imagine.
yeah, well, yeah,
Well,
ish.
ish.
So Expert
Nice.
acrylic titanium white, a big glob, bloop, and a BAB baby.
Oh my gosh, so many spam calls today.
Spam calls.
Yeah, I just keep getting bombarded with one.
What do you mean?
Just like I'm.
Oh, your
noticing-
phone?
Oh yeah, it's just.
Oh, you got your phone sitting over there?
No, my watch is ringing. Okay, so we're using a BAB here, and
Maybe.
this is there it is.
It's too small. I have
You could use it though.
I have an OG BAB.
Oh wow.
But this one is really fluffy because I've been using it and I don't need it to take up that much space. I need the more narrow edge.
Sure.
So we're just sticking with the BAB, the Dauntless BAB.
Something you can get right now. Metal God, thank you so much for that sub. We appreciate it. Rock has a question. What color would you use to make a nice, convenient asphalt base?
What color?
Yeah. Coal black is pretty good.
Yeah. Coal black and dark neutral gray are great for asphalt. Highlight with neutral gray. That works great.
You need a size 10 flat brush for canvas to paint this.
Yeah.
Well, there's some small bits still, though. Even though this model's big, like he's got to get in there a little bit, right?
Yeah,
There's some.
it's still very big though. It's
You're-
still very, 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 very big.
Now, how much did you take off here, Jason?
Of my dry brush?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Quite a bit, but I need to have enough left on it to brighten these edges, and these edges are ridiculous. So, and for some reason, this freaking BAB had somebody leave wet red paint in it, so I can't get white. It's all pink. What the hell was that used for? All right, let's have another one. People messing with my stuff.
Scorched Earth, I can't afford the whole set yet, but I got a blue, warm yellow, crimson one step, so I can only not use them in play, but I also mix a bunch of other colors. Okay. Yeah. You're going to love them through your airbrush, though. I know you were mentioning that earlier. They are fantastic through the airbrush.
100%. You will think that One Step was built for airbrush when you use it through one.
Yes, it is a big model king tone. New old larger ones? Oh, like Babs? The old originals? Yeah, Scorched Earth, you're going to love it. They are fantastic.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, Gabe.
From over on the other side of the building.
Look, we have OG BABs.
Papa Chicken, not counting the One Step, are there other colors in the works?
Yeah. Obviously, we've talked about needing to do eclectic salmon, colors along that range. We got a lot.
Tech Badger, the Dauntless brushes are so good. I bought them at a number 2 Sable a few months back and find myself reaching for the Dauntless. Yes, they are my go-to brushes as well. They are great. I love the Bab for exactly what Jason is doing. Yeah, Wirehead. It's a big mini in quotes.
It's a bigature.
A bigature? What size does a mini have to be a bigature? That's the real question. I can't believe this is not
I think
a Titan.
Knights.
I think, yeah, this is
I think
definitely...
Knights and those AOS Giants that you did,
Gargants
those are all
pretty
bigature. Big. Gargants are big. There's so many of those that are enormous. So I think all those count.
Avian, I do exactly that. How many One Step did you get? Says Hawkajin to Scorched Earth. I bet you Scorched Earth got the whole set. Maybe? Question mark. Stan saying, any more metallic colors? Are you complete with the current range? Or are you complete?
I withhold comment.
He withholds comment. Scorched Earth, you got 3 of them. Nice. Still, you're going to love them through that airbrush.
The details are so fine on this guy, which sounds silly to say because the model's so big, but the details are really tight. So this isn't working as well as I would hope.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's just not going to have the same punchy effect that it did on the Crisis suit, unfortunately.
Is that just because of the sheer size?
It's the size and the fact that the details are so fine at this scale. You know, like the panel lines are not even a millimeter wide, yet the thing is huge. Whereas on this guy, the panel lines are bigger than they are on the big guy.
Good point.
So you get, when you dry brush, you get more edges that are more pronounced. Yeah. All the edges, like these panel edges, are so tight in there, you're not going to catch them with a dry brush. You have to do them with an actual edge highlight. So this isn't going to have the effect that I'd really hoped for. I kind of knew that when I was building it, just because I was like, well, everything is so finely detailed that it's going to be a real pain in the butt to make these edges pop. But we can get the main ones here.
Yeah, I definitely can see it, though. Those big ones.
Yeah. It'll help with the One Step filter brightening up on these big edges. It just won't do much for us for the panel lines, which that's what I was really hoping, is that it would make my life a little bit easier when doing this gargantuan, to have the bigger panel lines not have to be all done with as much focus.
Right.
Because you can tell that this model will take 80 million years to get done.
Little Billy, take it easy, man. Have a good day.
Leaving already, you traitor?
Little Billy's got to do some work. We'll give you that one, Little Billy.
Oh, I won't.
Coyote Clausen, do you have any recommendations for a gloss and matte acrylic top coat varnish?
Ours.
use ours, Coyote Clausen. Go check out our
make
mini,
a matte varnish and spray.
Put that link in there.
And we make a airbrush matte and gloss. So depending on what you're looking to do, if you want it for full protection, then our rattle can. If you want it just for the glossiness and the visual matte, then you use the airbrush ones.
And go check out that link right there. You can go grab any of those that he just mentioned right there. Yes, we'll be doing the challenge review in a little bit. So stay tuned for that. Belial, hey, I heard you have new stuff in the works. Is one of those things Payne's Gray Primer?
No.
Keep asking, though. Because we will give you the real answer.
I mean, that
every
was
time.
the real answer.
I know. That's right.
You may get an answer you like better as time goes on. But right now, I am not working on Payne's Gray. The purple was the one that I had been promising for so long. Payne's Gray is a great base coat, but I would still say that going over black is your better bet.
Yeah. Donate my giveaway paints to Scorched Earth, please. Donate my giveaway. Oh. Hawkagen, you can message us. Message Jabe. Blau says, how much money do I have to give you to produce Payne's Gray Primer? $1.2 million.
$1.2 million. Most expensive bottle of paint you'll ever buy. Well, I can't
to produce it, to back it, to punt start it. We're starting a new website called Punt Start rather than Kickstart.
I didn't know anything about this, so
we just did. What's Punt Start? What colors are coming in Wave 2 for One Step, says Sidious. You'll have to wait. Are you going to tell them or are you going to make them wait, Jason?
There is a really punchy scarlet red, dark purple, dark turquoise, black brown. There's a really cool yellowish or greenish yellow and orangish yellow colors that are really neat. I can show you some of them here in just a second. We have some test models that have the non-final renderings of the color, but it'll give you enough of an idea what's going on with them.
Ace says, punchy scarlet red, you say?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
We got a lot of notable colors coming in the second one.
You're going to like it.
You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. Little did you guys know that Jason was also the owner of Men's Warehouse for 17 years. He doesn't he doesn't say that all too often.
Because it's not true.
Did you hear his voice though? Like he was the guy. Well, I think you heard. I think I heard you say there's Dark Sea Ben coming in the next wave. Well, you're asking a lot of questions. You're gonna have to calm down.
Yes.
You're gonna have to slow your roll, Mister.
This is being fairly brutal to you guys.
We kind of have to. This one's. I know what you're trying to do, but Jason, are you really coming out with another set? We know what you're doing. We can smell you from a mile away.
A mile away.
We know exactly what you're doing.
Smell you from a mile away. That's a totally different
Ozzy?
problem, Chris.
If you smell something from a mile away, you got some huge problems. Belial says, I got to catch up with my questions. Those are great questions. We'll let you know. How about this? Belial, I'll let you know. Stick around stream over the next couple months and you'll know exactly what the colors will be. How about that?
Oh, you'll know.
Throw a brush at him, Jason? No, he should not throw anything across. Between me and Jason right now, there's a lot of things that should not be... Objects should not be thrown near any of them. Besides Jason's worrisome earthquake painting desk and all the technology on this side of the room, probably not the best thing to do.
Worrisome earthquake?
Yeah, just your, like...
Because of the models?
You got a lot of models in front of you. Right on that desk. Ooh. Travel Citric. I work with someone who had body smell issues, maybe not a mile away, but easy from 50 feet. You shit, blabba.
I gotta tell you, running into those people is rough.
Muffin Truck says, my buddy is going to Gen Con, and I'm going to have him mule one step wave 2 for me. Ha, ha, ha,
Nice.
ha.
Very good. Good plan.
Good thing we don't have earthquakes because Jason's desk would be wrecked.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't stack stuff like this if I lived in an earthquake-proof zone or an earthquake-prone
Jason,
zone.
we have had earthquakes before.
No, we haven't.
We did. In 2015, we had a 4.0.
Here we go.
So
with the lies.
Look it up. We did.
Here we go with the
It
lies.
was so silly because when it happened, for
I
us,
lived here
Arizona,
in 2014.
2015 it happened.
I lived here from 2014, and that's not true.
Jason, yes, Phoenix Metro had one.
Well, Phoenix didn't feel it.
Yeah, they did. We felt it in our house. It was shaking.
Yeah, that was a totally different deal.
I'm not even kidding. It was the last major earthquake we had here in Phoenix at Valley. Yes, it is. And yes, no, it was barely an earthquake. There were so many memes that came out. Arizona will rebuild, and it was just plastic chairs in the lawn that fell over.
I think I do remember that. Yeah.
It was.
Now that you say the meme thing.
Yeah, there were so many memes. Shaken, not stirred. Face man, I was quick. They thought someone farted. Yeah, it was definitely a fast one. Yeah, let's see. Wow, what model is that? This is a Tau Supremacy suit.
Taunar Supremacy suit, yes.
According to the internet, there was an earthquake in Phoenix 20 days ago, 2.5 magnitude. Got it. We did not feel that. No, Gabe, I was not. I was living in California at the time, but I was actually back, and that was at our great-grandmother's house. Alex and I, and actually our whole family were in that house during when it happened. It's the only reason why I remember. Yeah, and you wouldn't feel something. Panic Bomb, you're right. You wouldn't feel something that at a 2.5. Is this the model that you have to build the torso first, says Faceman?
This is the one that tells you to build the legs first, and then at the end of the leg build says you should probably build the torso first to know how to pose the legs. So dumb.
Did you pin
And all
this?
the part numbers are wrong. It's a standard Forge World model that they don't know how to write instructions, so welcome to it.
Did you pin it yourself, or did it come with a pinning mechanism?
No, I pinned it myself.
Okay. What do you pin this with?
Piece of aluminum armature wire.
Okay. Gotcha.
The thick stuff.
And then you just
3 mil armature wire.
And you just super glue the heck out of it.
Well, you super glue the heck out of all the parts.
Yeah.
But you.
Oh, right.
You drill a hole and you pin the rest of it.
Nice. I'm kind of surprised. It's so heavy looking.
It's very heavy. It's probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 pounds.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Belial says, my wife is currently building an Orc Stompa, and that is such a pain in the arse to build. I would agree. I love that Stompa model, though. I saw a really cool kit bash on it the other day with using like a turret face. So, all right.
All right, we are going to one last airbrush step before we do the challenge review here. We're going to do some white.
Oh, white. Okay.
Yeah, we do a final punch of white when I do this to get the brightest specs, because this model is big enough that the dry brush edges don't catch the brightness the way they do on a smaller scale. So we need to go back with the airbrush and punch in some brightness, so that when we put the filter over the top, we really get a good variation in mid-tone to highlight.
And Janky, I will just tell you really quick, it was black primer, royal purple, pale yellow zenithal with special sauce and water, or one-step special sauce. And now, then a bold titanium dry brush of the edge highlight style, right? Dry brush. And now we're back to special sauce and white. Bold titanium white.
Yeah, special sauce about 2-to-1 with the white and a little spritz of water.
Tech
I want
Badger,
it
have a good
fairly
one.
thin so I can build it up. I don't want it to be speckly and, super bright. Even though this is underpainting, so, we're going to get a lot of flexibility in being able to go over it with the filter.
Yep. That's great. This is going to be cool.
Right.
And then after that, he will do his dark blue filtering over that, Jason. Is that how that works?
The dark blue black.
Yeah, dark blue black. Wirehead, take it easy. Have a good night, my man.
See you easy, Wirehead. Or see you easy, Wirehead. See you later, Wirehead.
I see you easy.
See you easy.
I like that. Yeah, Chinky, if you go back to a couple streams, Jason did it off stream, but he does a black armor for all of his Tau. That's kind of the workup he's going to be working on. But Chinky, also, we have a great video on painting white Tau. You actually really benefit from this one, probably. So let me show you what I'm talking about here, because he also painted this model quite a bit ago, but there you go. Check that video out. It's all about painting white without painting white, but with a little bit of white. That's kind of the joke of painting white, right? He's finishing this last bit up, Gabe, and then we're going to do the challenge review. Yes, check that out, Chinky. You'll love it. Love it. Thanks, Gabe. Can you make the curtains look good, son?
All right.
Kids today. And movies and music.
Drugs.
Is royal purple more on the red side while dark purple is more on the blue side?
Yes.
There you go, Fuzzsaw.
Yeah. You got it.
You did it.
Double T. I had to get up super early for work. Your airbrush is hitting white noise notes and making me sleepy.
Yeah.
Is this a Tau knot? No, Sandwich Bro. Even though that's a silly joke, this is a Tau supremacy suit. What's going on, Frigid?
That looks pretty good.
Pretty good for government work. Oh, 1 second. Let me change this ability here to Gabe's. 1 second. Oop. There you go. Say something?
Something.
Perfect. There's Gabe.
Something.
Gabe, thanks for showing up today.
I'm here. Hey,
I'm here. Where are they?
I don't know if you've been seeing it in chat, but not yesterday, on Jason's birthday stream, one of our winners of the giveaway, Hawkijin,
Yes, Hawkijin. Yes,
had
I
messaged me and wanted to
Yes.
re-gift his gift.
Yes, I saw that.
And
Scorched
so,
Earth.
so big shout out to Hawkijin for
Hawkijin,
being awesome.
thank you. And Scorched Earth. Hopefully, you will enjoy all
Wanted
of
to
those.
gift somebody else some paints.
We love it. Hawkijin, thank you so much. Scorched Earth, congratulations. Fridge said, not too much, about to wrap up the workday, walk in, then shower, start a giveaway. So, yeah, there you go. That's your magic.
I'm gonna pop in close
technique.
so people can see. Right,
Like
I'm
that.
just kind of taking and brightening up these corner spots mainly where you have these pokes of brightness along the front and top edges, and it just gives me a little bit more dimension to play with to push the yellow into being more of a mid-tone, but I don't want to overdo it. That looks pretty good.
Fridge is like, I love when Jason brighten ups the corner. There you go. Everybody calm down.
Everybody calm down.
That's nice of you. Bilal says, well, I might actually enter into this month's challenge. You should. It's fun.
You absolutely should.
And you have a rhino.
Vehicles. Vroom,
What
vroom.
colors for the workup? Okay.
Beep, beep.
Chandler, I will repeat this one more time. We have dark, it's just black primer, then royal purple. Then you have pale yellow with special sauce and water through the airbrush. And then he dry brushed bold titanium white, or I'm sorry, titanium expert acrylic white. And then he's doing some special sauce with white in the airbrush right now.
Just to give me a little final punch, and then we're going to filter over the top of this with the dark blue black. And I am going to tell you that we will do that right after the challenge.
Right after these messages.
Or, you know what I could do is while the challenge is going on and they can't see me, I could just do the filter.
You could. No, they
Ooh.
want to do. They definitely want to see the filter. That would be ludicrous.
Can you imagine? The screen goes blank, screen comes
No,
back,
They
finished!
want to. That's the no.
That'd be awesome.
We are going to do the challenge here in a little bit. So if you were a part of the May challenge, we are going to start that here in a little bit. But no.
Finished! Well, I got a lot further than I thought I was going to get, so I'm going to go sit with Gabe.
Yeah, you did actually.
You're going to sit with me?
Yeah. You probably need to switch seats.
Dang it. Fine. I'll do it for you, Jason.
All right.
I'll do it.
Airbrush clean.
I'll do it for you.
Tub put away. I have my water. Everybody
Hi, Adrian.
sees.
I don't know if
This
this mic is on.
will turn into this. Well, not poof, poof, tiny model, or it will begin
Yeah.
to look like this.
Crazy.
Isn't it? It's magic. It's magic.
It's magic.
Or as Chris would say, magic and prunes.
Magic and prunes.
Is it magic and prunes?
It is magic and prunes.
Always magic and prunes.
Magic and prunes.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Everybody
You
give me
know what
1
time it
second.
is. Break it down with our intro song.
Boom cats, boom cats, boom cats, boom cats.
Sound review.
You were supposed to do the vocals.
Oh, I thought you were doing the vocals.
Boom boo doo boo cats, boom boom boo doo boo cats, boom boom. Challenge review. All right, we're taking this show on the road.
What are you doing over there, sir?
He's
All right.
squishing pictures and messing around with stuff. And what are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I see.
You were not going to
Dude.
sit over there today, so
Dude,
Wasn't ready.
I decided
You
to
know-
do this. There we go.
you know,
Ladies and gentlemen, we got the May Discord
you
challenge.
know,
It's the same model.
you could have just
two
left my other
different
place
ways.
empty.
It's a challenge review.
2 models, the same model, two different ways.
Yes. So we challenge you with painting the exact same model, but twice, 2 different ways. And I've seen a couple of things that you guys have done, and they're very, very cool.
They are very cool.
I am going to make fart noises.
I would love.
Everybody says turn me down and Gabe up.
I would love to hear what everyone's thoughts were before we jump into it.
Because I'm loud and Gabe's not.
Gabe might not even be on.
You're on.
I'm not on.
I don't think you're on.
It might be on. Yep. Hello.
Okay, now you're on.
Am I?
Yep.
Yeah. We're good. You know what would be really great is headphones.
Yeah, go grab them.
They're right there. I see them.
I'm peeking.
You're not peeking. You can't peek.
I'm always the loudest one, though, because nobody else here has a voice that can compete with me.
That's right.
One wolf paints at 79%. Sigh.
All right.
Cool.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's jump into it.
There's that 78%. He got reduced to 75 yesterday. You got to remember that.
Can you hide that little corner
Yes, I can. Thank you.
slippy?
What
There it
corner,
is.
Nice.
What corner thing?
Don't worry about it. We fixed it.
Hey.
All right,
You
Gilborn.
don't get to do things without me knowing. That's not how this works.
I just want to make sure that Gillenborn's name was there. Okay, so we got Mystique
Ooh.
painted.
Oh,
different
wow.
ways.
This is
Three ways,
this is a
because
great
he
way.
did the change in the middle. That's not just a photo blur. That's like the Mystique changing
Yeah.
that you. This I love. I love
Yeah.
you took the same model and you made a complete like animated transition with it.
Yeah, this is really cool.
That fits the narrative. That was a great idea.
Gilborn,
Great idea. Very, very good, Gillenborn. Nice.
I would like to know if this is the exact same, like literally the same model. They probably
is.
painted it.
No, it is.
No, but what I'm saying is they probably painted it.
It's the same model.
Yeah.
Because he painted it like just like Mystique in her superhero, but you see the boots starting to turn red.
Oh, yeah.
And then you see it move up to
Yeah.
3/4, and then it takes over entirely.
Yeah, you've
It's
got a whole
brilliant.
story here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Brilliant.
Gilborn, this was a great way to do this challenge. I'm just going to say that. That's just great
Brilliant.
storytelling. All right. Double T.
It's 3 different models, Gillenborn said.
Yeah. Yep.
So Gillenborn painted 3.
Yep.
That's
You're even more insane, dude.
crazy. That's super cool.
You need an intervention.
Double T.
Gillenborn,
But
or
that's
double
awesome.
T. Double T with the 2 knights. This is cool.
So did we mirror the photo?
Yeah.
Or is this 2 models sitting next to each other that you mirrored the print?
I think you mirrored the print, Double T.
What's happening here?
It looks. This is a great.
They look like the
Photoshop
same
job
exact
if
model,
this is
just
the
mirrored.
case. Yeah.
If
Right.
Double T
Well,
is
no,
here.
because I don't understand.
Or
I
maybe
think
the
it's
arms
3D
are swapped?
printed, and then the model is mirrored.
Double T
So-
said non-metallic metal versus true metallic metal.
Ah.
That's pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay, you did mirrored print. Okay, got
Mirrored print. Okay.
Got it.
gotcha.
Nice. Cool.
it. I figured.
That's
Super
really
cool.
Yeah. I like how you did 2 different techniques completely too. It wasn't just color. You went, here's a non-metallic version, here's a true metallic version. I think that's really cool.
Yep.
Super cool way to do that.
Very nice.
General Ginkgo.
Ginkgo biloba. That's his new name.
Ginkgo biloba.
General Ginkgo biloba.
This is really cool. I love this model. Little guy with this little stitched hood.
I like the monochromatic. Yeah, he does make that noise. He's like, "Meh." But I like the monochromatic version,
Mhm.
right? And then giving it color. So
Yeah. It's very cool. Very well done.
Yeah, it definitely has a lot of contrast. That's for sure.
me likey. Interesting bust.
Haley.
And I like that everybody's like is literally painting 2 models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane.
This is cool.
This
You
was a
guys
hard
are
challenge.
insane.
This is a hard challenge.
I guess with STLs nowadays, that makes it easy. I never even really thought about that when we did this challenge, is
Yeah.
that if you did it as an STL, you could literally just print 2
Yeah.
Yep.
and be done. Right?
This is
I was
cool.
trying to think about what models I have laying around that we just have 2 of.
Right.
And I'm like, well, some of those rebels from that rebel army are identical, but
No.
though they're not because they have different heads.
Yeah.
Because we didn't build them exactly the
Yeah.
same. But
Yep.
yeah.
This is
I like
cool.
it. This is cool. We brought this up as one of the examples. Paint one as a statue and one as a living, breathing creature. This is always a really great way to see, a model in a good juxtaposition to what is possible.
I love the details go all the way to the base too, because the one looks like feels alive still, and the other one is like that kind of
Oh
overgrown,
yeah, with like the flowers
stone.
and the more lively dirt, and the other one's just on gray.
On
with a couple
stone,
of green,
yeah.
like weeds growing through cracks in
Yeah.
concrete, kind of a thing on the statue one. Yeah.
Super cool.
It even has like a bird's nest kind of thing up in the arm and around the neck.
And it looks like the stone has like some blue glow coming out of it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
This is right here.
Really like that.
Runes growing.
Yeah.
Cool. Neckus.
Natanicus.
Neckus. This is cool too. Wow, that's a pretty crazy paint job.
Dude, there's like a
for
face
visor.
painted in the
Nice job.
in
The glass.
The
Super
glass,
cool.
right?
Wow.
Which is super rad. Super rad.
You guys are
This
nailing
is-
this
yeah.
challenge.
Yeah, this is super cool. I really like the muted colors.
Yeah, seeing people go with more of a monochromatic version of a model and then spicing it up with color is awesome. It's a really great way to do it. And what the whole goal of this was to have you maneuver around the same surface twice, because you'll find that if you're painting figures for board games, there's a lot of repetition.
Mm-hmm.
If you're painting things for even Trench Crusade, a lot of repetition. A lot of those games out there that don't have as many miniature sculpt types but have lots of miniatures, you're going to get repeat
Right.
models, right? And so when you have those models that, like, you're painting Zombicide and you got to paint 4 of every figure, I think it's 4 of every figure in those. And if you have to paint 4 of a figure, it's like, okay, well, what can I do without just make brown pants, green shirt, and then green pants, brown shirt? What else can you do? And you can do this kind of stuff where you can change the dynamic of the model entirely and make it look really cool.
I love the idea of having like a cool idea for a color scheme, doing that, and then going, okay, now I do another one, but it has to be different, and just challenging yourself to like do something you're not normally leaning to. I think it's just a cool.
It's hard sometimes to wipe the slate clean and forget how you painted the last one and not get caught up in just
Right.
repetition, but this is really cool.
Yep.
I also like the cast shadow on the one and the lighting and on the monochromatic one is really cool.
Yeah, super cool.
Sensei Baka.
This is really neat.
Yeah,
Again,
green is really cool.
Yeah, the monochromatic, right? It's like everybody had the same idea, whether they're depending, notwithstanding the color that they chose for doing the monochromatic one, but
Yeah.
Here's one where it's done the way I would do it normally with the leather wrap and all the materials are colored the way I expect the materials, and the other one's just a very simple palette, but finding good value and
Yeah.
sketching it out and making it really cool. Me likey.
Yeah, that's a really
That's
cool.
great, Sensa.
I
You wish
like
you had that info going into the challenge. Your board game painting is what you do. Oh, right.
Sensei, I freaking love drab brown. One of my favorite colors too. What a great use for it.
How many favorite colors does he have?
It's too many.
I have
all
11.
the colors.
Is it literally all of them?
I'm curious
It
for
should
the
be.
for the
it's all
green
of
one. For the green one, there's the bright green and bismuth yellow. I'm curious if those were the 2 colors used for most of it.
Like
I
mixing.
don't know
with
if
mono-
it gets a little dark, but it could just be glazed over black.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
Super cool. Man.
Oh,
Here's a more traditional deal, right, where you just have changed the color scheme.
Yeah.
This is great, though, right? It wasn't just a reverse color scheme. As a matter of fact, they have got the same outfit color almost, or very similar, and then just the skin. And, this is a great way to treat the board game deals, that they can all have a different palette for flesh or whatever.
well, and also Bandman did
Underpainting and one step on the
on
the
one.
left.
Yep.
Clown Fiesta layering.
Clown Fiesta Lair.
Yeah, super cool. I'm curious, Bandman, which one you enjoyed the most.
You have questions, Bandman has answers. Of course he's going to say the one-step one, because it gives you such satisfying results for such little effort.
It's true. It looks great.
Mr. Batman, send us your notes.
Doom, 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 doom. What is Clown Fiesta? This is the first time I've heard it.
Don't Google that. Oh.
No.
Gonna get us banned.
Band man, I get what you did there. That's
See?
hilarious.
See?
Gonna get us banned.
See? I have
Band man.
jokes.
Band man.
I have jokes. I can joke around. I'm not always as serious and crotchety as I appear.
Zoice.
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 Terminators.
Ooh,
These are cool.
Very, very bright.
I like the neon.
So yeah, the one with the fluorescent and lighting up is kind of bitching.
Yeah, that is
Right.
cool. The I do like that flame effect on the Terminators.
It's crazy how he did it though, right? It looks kind of like it's lit from within, and then when you look at the glow, it also catches the green,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
that's cool. Super cool.
Terminator, I'll be back.
Red Spartan.
What's that?
Looks like a
What's that? I can tell what it is.
It's kind of like,
Like riding on like a manta ray.
no,
it's a
I
dude.
Think it's a
It's a dude who's
It's
on
a
like
cloak.
a rock,
yeah.
but
It
they've
looks like an
got,
assassin.
yeah, it's like an assassin.
Harlequins.
Yeah.
Harlequins.
Yeah.
The unfortunately the bottles in the background kind of make it
A little harder.
a
to
little
see.
hard to tell what's going on.
Yeah. It's cool. I love the two different color schemes. Super fun and bright.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, really cool.
I like what you did with the back of each of them too, where you have like the different color scheme for their phasing in and out.
Yeah.
I think that's what that is.
Mm-hmm. That's super cool.
Rogue Hobby set, one of our, I freaking love that set. You know what? Some of my favorite colors are in that set.
I'm sure they are.
Sack film banging.
Chad, I feel like
I do.
he has no not favorite colors.
There's a lot of good
Isn't
colors.
that the way?
There's a lot of good colors.
I don't think I could go up to a color and say that's not my favorite color.
What color do you not like?
I don't
For the people
like
right
any
now.
color because
What color do you
depends on
not
the
like?
project.
What color do you not like?
I don't have a color that I don't like because
Everyone's
the
had-
world is filled with colors.
Everyone's got a color they don't like.
I really don't.
My favorite color in our line, burnt red.
That's the one I don't like.
You don't like burnt red?
No, I have to. That really made me feel bad by saying that too, because I really love burnt red. But I just didn't want to like your favorite color.
Oh,
See,
okay.
no,
I
no,
see.
That
I see.
doesn't,
Okay,
it doesn't
okay.
work like that though.
He just wanted to pick the opposite of what I said.
Correct.
Burnt red's an
Gotcha.
awesome color.
Burnt
It
red's
is.
a great
It's
color.
one of my favorites.
It's an incredible color.
I'm not even kidding. Actually, burnt red is. Now I have layers of effect when it comes to
Moving right along from Chris's list of infinite favorites. Oh,
Takano.
Takano.
Hey,
Oh.
OG Hero Quest.
oh, is that what this
I
is?
think so. This looks like the OG Hero Quest
sure?
model.
Or is that not Conan?
Maybe it's not.
Is that not? It's not Conan. I love this though. I love the fact that we've got the skin tone going into like golem gray almost, but
Yeah.
we kept the the rest of the stuff separate. It wasn't just doing a statue, right?
Cool non-metallic metal differences on the sword
Yeah,
shine
the sword,
as well.
sword is neat with
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Burnt
are
red.
those? It looks like those serrated, the serrated parts of the sword are painted in rather than
Yep.
cut
like
out.
little chinks in the sword.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. I like that.
That is very cool.
You know what? I like that,
I
Takano.
like the base and the cobblestones as well, and how that is contrasting on each of the models. Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're an opposite.
Yeah, it's like alternate dimension versions.
Yeah.
I
What
really
is
dig
that when you flip the color? What's that technical term?
Negative,
Yeah, negative. Gotcha.
like a photo
This-
negative.
Yeah, this kind of looks like a negative. Like if you were going to take it and you like swap a filter over it in Photoshop and you do a negative, this is what it looks like.
Maybe that's what it is. That could be it.
No,
Should be.
because the negative would be the highlights in the shadows flip.
Mm.
And like your highlights become dark and your shadows become bright
Yeah.
is typically how you do that. But this has that kind of alternate dimension feel. Like, you can imagine there being like a portal in between them and they're staring at each other, not through a mirror, but into different realms,
Yeah.
with a different colored sun and stuff like that. It provokes a neat story.
I love the not Conans.
Not Conan.
Dyslexic mini painter. This is a fun one.
This is super fun.
Like a split in reality, right? Like it's a
Oh, that's
split
cool.
reality,
Yeah,
like in space.
I like that.
that's
I love
fun.
With the
story
card
of
in the
this.
middle and
This is
staring
literally
through.
what Jason was just talking about,
Yeah.
like different
Yeah, exactly.
universes.
That's a great way to use this.
That's super fun.
Right? Is one of them like just white
One of them's just
and one of
white.
them has the yellow suit?
Yeah, with the
Really cool.
Yeah,
There were a lot of these at Contrast that took the little miniature spaceman figs, and one of them was like collecting butterflies. It was a big long shadow box with a piece of glass over it, and it had like 12 of them pinned, like you would pin butterflies up,
like
and
bugs.
they were all
Yeah.
different colors with their scientific names underneath of them for what they, which color they, or
That's
what kind of
really
a
cool.
astronaut they were. It was pretty funny.
That's cool.
Yeah, these are fun models. That's a great one. And again, the storytelling is really neat on that.
Yeah, I definitely like the split in reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool touch.
Yeah, simple. It didn't have to be a complex paint job to do this. If you were using the storytelling aspect, just doing one in black and one in white and juxtaposing them like that would have been something that I'm surprised I haven't seen yet. Maybe somebody does it, but you know, there was an opportunity to do something here. You know, like two figures staring at a TV screen, one black, one white, through you know,
like
through the
yeah.
opposite ends of a TV, old CRT tube. So you surprised me, chat. You didn't come up with that yet.
Well, there's still time.
It's true.
Skinner, new Custodes.
I like this. I just like the color scheme of the one on the right. It's like that
Yep.
that jadish blue is a really great
It's-
workup on that with the red.
Looks like it's got non-metallic gold marbling.
Yeah,
Which is
almost like
really
the
cool.
like the scratches or whatever that is on the
Gold
armor is
veining.
really
Yeah.
really cool.
Super rad.
Yeah, I dig it.
Skinner, great
Again,
job.
just a great way to test and show how you can do such a different color scheme changes the model entirely. You know, when you see this in mostly like swarm armies, like people will take like maybe your Imperial Guard or your Tyranids. I see it all the time. We take like 5 gaunts and paint them all different, and then see which one jumps out to you the most, and be like, okay, that's my army scheme.
Yeah.
Right, because you can take a simple figure and do it. This is a more complex figure, so I don't know that I would take a Custodes and paint 5 of them in 5 different colors to figure out my army. But it shows you that you could paint a couple of these up and do it quick. You know, the thing is like, you know, we have good painting going on here, but you can imagine just doing this in a very sketchy base coat style and taking a handful of models and doing it to pick your color scheme.
Yep.
Right. Some people will do Photoshop, but I always like having the physical model in my hand to be able to see how it is. But you can do it very quickly and get to a point where you're like, okay, that one speaks to me, and then go that way.
Yep.
Stan.
This guy's face is funny.
I love it. It's like they're brothers.
The twins.
Yeah.
These are the twins that were separated at birth. One was raised in the north, one was raised in the south in this fantasy land.
Yeah.
And they grew up warring tribes, and now they are finding out in their quest for overtaking the other that they are brothers, and they are not happy about it. They don't know how to act. That's my story here.
Or one is not happy, the other one is...
Neither one of those guys are happy. Look at those eyes.
One seems angry and the other one seems sad.
It's just because he's pale.
He seems sad.
Oh, that guy seems...
He just seems sad. This guy seems angry.
Great job, Stan.
I love it.
Super cool. I like the different metals too and the different weathering you did on both of them.
Yeah, taking the warmth out of the skin and putting it into the clothes on the one and letting the skin go to a more pale tone, and then the other one has a warmer skin tone, darker, and then using the more pale metal, you know, in the silver on the chest is a great way to balance that out.
Inspiration was war. Left is leaving. Right has returned and seen some stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's cool.
Oh, okay. All right, these guys' hair's gray. What kind of war was this?
A long
An
war.
undead
It's a
war.
very long war.
Serenity minis.
Oh, very cool.
Minis.
This is
Very
super
cool. It's like a drow and a regular elf. Yeah, very neat.
yeah, super clean.
This is a really good way to show that just by varying, you can imagine doing this as your sample model, and you can vary your army, and just by changing the skin tone, that your army looks completely different.
Yeah.
Right.
Completely different when it has enough flesh to
Yeah.
go around. Yeah.
Great job on the
Like
skin
this.
too. It's super clean and
Yeah.
it looks the blends on it
I
are
really like that dark greenish
Awesome.
skin is really cool.
Yeah.
The other one's really cool too.
Yeah, I mean even just like on the you can see on the forehead and the ears
Yeah.
like just how super nice.
Megan the Odd.
Ooh, I love the OSL.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, choosing to do the effect colors
Yeah.
differently on those really sets it off too.
Super
One in
rad.
warm and one in cool tones again. I like it.
Yep.
Green
Super
flame is
cool.
I like it. The color combos work really well too. The green and the brown are cool, and then the yellow fire on the blue is really nice. Great job.
Yeah, really cool. I just love looking at a lot of these and being like, man, this would be a fun enemy in D&D, and it's like
Nerd.
could be like stage 1, stage 2,
Nerd.
Oh, it's awesome.
Nerd.
Such a good story.
Chris plays a book.
He doesn't anymore. Now he plays a robot.
What?
Yeah. True
Aren't there
story.
Robots in D&D?
In our D&D now.
Oh my
We're
god.
doing Star Wars now.
What?
Yeah.
Beep boop. The Star Wars RPG?
No, we're doing our own version of Daggerheart in Star Wars world. So we've rekitted some stuff.
Pretty fun.
That's how it works. Just make rules, man.
Making the odd, I love the green flame on this. Great job on that.
Yeah, very, very cool.
Super, super cool. Love me some OSL. Weedan. Oh, okay. Got a little bit of. Is that called? Not. What's that style called? Kind of like the harsh black lines or the thick black lines.
Mm-hmm.
Sketch work. I don't know what that's
Yeah, this
called.
is more of a similar color palette, different technique of
Yeah.
painting, which I think is really cool. We haven't
Really
seen
rad.
that yet a whole lot. We saw with the one done with one step and the other done with layering, but they were different colors.
Yeah.
This one trying to achieve or utilizing the same color palette but different techniques. You get the less saturation on the right, but the more realism, and then the one on the right on the left has more contrast, more saturation of color and stuff,
Yeah.
and gives it a more, I don't want to say cartoony, more comic booky style,
yeah, it's,
right? Because high contrast.
Yeah, it's that what you were talking about earlier, the cell shading.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cell shade.
This is
style.
really cool.
Super
Yep.
rad.
Yep. Great job.
Really, really cool.
Winan, are you here? Can you speak to what your goal was with those?
Weedan, I saw you in there a little bit. What was your goal, Weedan? Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
tell us a little bit about what you were going for when you chose to do these. Was it really just a focus on different technique and brush style and achievement of contrast and such? Did I nail it, or was I completely off base?
He's gonna be like, "What are you talking about?"
He's like, dude, I just painted them. I don't know what you're talking about. Just try to do one more comic style and really, yep,
That's
Sweet.
cool.
nailed it. I
Great
love it.
way to do the challenge.
I love it.
Yeah, super
And it shows
cool.
a real subtle difference, right? When you're not looking at those up close,
Yeah.
you can tell that. I mean, you could intermix this in an army and have different styles. I don't know why you would, but it shows that you can achieve very similar results even with different techniques. So this would be a great lesson to people that are looking at models on the internet that they find really cool, but they don't know how to achieve that style. Who cares? Use the color palette and try to do it in your own style, and you won't be far off, right?
G flat. Ah!
Great model.
That's the name. That's the sound he's making.
Yeah, this is super
I
cool.
really like the sword and the color scheme on the left. The sword with kind of like the sunset being reflected in it, right?
Mhm.
Is really rad. Both of these are great though.
I like the dead
Super
eyes
cool.
of this one
Yeah.
over the realism eyes of that one.
Very cool. Good choice of color on both.
Yeah, the
And great paintwork.
gems are very, very fun. G flat, great stuff. Bushman.
Ooh. These are cool.
This is another one that feels like the blood on the ground is like a before and after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like fresh to war and not so fresh.
Yeah.
It's kind
You
of
know,
the morning versus
Because the one in the
end.
the one in the desert is like, off we go, and the other one's like, holy hell. I like it.
Yeah, that's cool. I like the really muted colors, like the gray with the blood. I think just gives it a really it just makes the blood pop out so much.
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
I will note something. This is not a reflect, because we're not really talking in terms of paint here, but always be careful with blood. It would not be that red on a porous surface. It starts to turn to the more mahogany, the more brownish, blackish tone. So driving it home like that is good, but it tends to look more like paint than blood. So just one thing to think about.
Yeah.
Not a critique of what you've done here. Just in the future, as you're painting blood, remember that blood is only red for like a split second when it's rubbed real thin on a bright surface, and it tends to go into that darker tone very quickly as it soaks in.
Mm-hmm. Bubble Krabby.
was that.
Oh, that's cool. It's like a.
Deathcore, Armageddon, Steel Legion guy.
Mhm.
I really like it. I
It's
like
the same
the
model
one
with-
in darkness with nothing but the glow from the plasma pistol,
Yeah.
and then the other guy in like general lighting, muted lighting and such.
yeah.
Great job there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, having the darkness be on the front side of the model is kind of cool. You see it normally the other way where it's the behind them is dark.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I get the gist of the kind of purplish, bluish tones from the darkness, the moonlight on the one side, and then the plasma coil lighting the coat to its color on the gun side. But then when I look at the back of the model, I have a lot of color on both. So I kind of lose the idea there. But again, this isn't to critique that. That's not what this challenge was for. But I'd be interested to hear more about why the darkness just from that 3/4 view to the front, and yet the back has got color. It's an interesting choice.
Was going for night and day, was running out of time, so chickened out on the filter.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. No, I totally get it. But it looks really good. It gets the story across.
Yeah, it definitely
100%.
conveys
From
it
the
for
front
sure.
view, works 100%.
Yep.
I love it.
Star Monarch.
Star Monarch.
This is fun.
It's almost like
It's a cool
OSL
model.
at night and then OSL during the day, right? So like if it's sunny,
Yeah.
you're not going to see that lighting effect, and if it's dark, you're going to see it.
Yeah, we've got the walking through the dungeon hallway one on the left because you get the shadow from the lamp and the light throwing back on the figure that's mostly in gray and neutral tones, and just a little bit of that green peeks out on the flesh at the edges of where the light is reaching it. So that's really cool. I like the color on the blade and everything. Great job on figuring out the angle of lighting going across there. And then the other one, is just painted as the colors that it would be, but he's still carrying the lantern, but the impact isn't there because the daylight will get rid of OSL. I always say if you were to carry a lit torch at noon on a bright Arizona day, you'd look like you were just carrying a stick, except that the air would be waving like heat
this.
haze around the stick. You wouldn't see the flame, and you wouldn't see any light from the flame because the sunlight would totally overpower it.
And this right here, the little shadow underneath the lantern,
Yeah.
definitely a good touch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really nice. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
I love the paint on the sprue.
Wow.
That is awesome.
They're all one model. That's pretty
it's
cool.
all the same sprue, right? It's like we had 2 sprues of these orcs, so we did both models double time. I like it.
That's fun.
The only thing that's different is the shield, these are ancient.
Yeah.
I love it.
1992. That's cool.
Yeah, I love it. Very, very cool.
Yeah, these are fun.
Man, no building required.
No, this is all just one piece, right? I love this when people do the sprue painting.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah, I've been seeing it lately with like people painting Space Marines without building them, but just painting them on the sprue.
And same thing here, more of a desaturated look on the left with the skin tones, and then a brighter, more comical, early GW style on the other. This is rad. This would be a great thing to do where you're like, here's the modern heavy metal and here's the old school heavy metal, right? Because the old school heavy metal was that bright coloring, everything was very vibrant colors, and then the new school is more beat up, militaristic, realistic damage and chipping and things like that.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
DK421, nice.
Sentinels.
Definitely
these
been
are cool.
liking the Sentinels lately.
Sentinels. Very cool. Yeah, just great. This is just a great way to throw in different color schemes. Even if you're just doing like the Sentinel army for MCP and you just had like 3 or 4 models, it's like even being able to change them up a little bit with the hue change on the suit is great.
Yeah.
I would love to know if they followed your workup, Christopher.
I'm curious. This doesn't look like as much metallics as mine, but
It's a
definitely
lot of one step. Looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah,
cool.
super
one
cool.
step.
Super rad.
Yeah, definitely was a fun. Those are really fun models. I've been enjoying mine.
Did
Swifter Bear.
you build a whole army? Like a whole squad of them?
Yeah, I got Cassandra Nova now too.
Swifter Bear, these are cool.
Monochromatic and then going into the color. That's cool.
Yeah, the value sketch and then the color over it, but it's not the same model. So interesting. This is what I was thinking most people would do, but take the model and do the value sketch and show us something in like monochromatic and then do something like one step or a filter over it to give it color.
Yeah.
Interesting. Very old model.
Yeah, I was about to say it looks very.
It's either very old or just very simplistic.
Yeah. Or primed over many
old
times.
Gandalf minis from the 70s.
Oh, really? I was going to say, yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow, that is old. Cool though.
Very cool. That you have multiple ones of that is crazy. Did they come with something like a old plastic board game or something? Lord of the Rings Monopoly?
I wonder if they're pewter.
Lord of the Rings Monopoly. They kind of look like they could be metallic with the way that the bases are set.
Yeah.
That's fun.
They're pewter, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
super
pewter.
fun.
Commando Ken.
Hey, it's
Nice.
the Knights from Dark Souls.
Oh yeah.
The Silver Knights.
Yeah, again, seeing that cool monochromatic and then painting
More
it up.
color.
Or it's like
Mhm.
the Black Knight and the Silver Knight. I like it. When you first play the game, these are like your first, like, why am I playing this game characters, right?
First time trying non-metallic metal, says Commando Ken.
All right.
Ooh,
Love
so
it.
you got
Great.
is this non-metallic metal or is this metallic metal? Because if this is non-metallic metal, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty great.
Panic Bomb's like, F those guys too. Yeah, they're really bad.
That's
The
fun.
skeletons in the graveyard because some of you are idiots.
Yeah, Commando Ken, the blue is. Got it. That's great. Yeah, I definitely can see it on the shoulder here.
Yeah, the
too.
halberd Black Knight was always a bastage. Because you'd be doing the standard, scuttle around to the right to backstab, but his halberd strike went like 360 degrees and threw you backwards and like nearly one-shot you.
Great job, Commando Ken.
Yeah, super cool.
And great job on attempting non-metallic metal.
Yep.
DiCaprio.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah, this is cool.
DiCaprio.
I love how the same like bright, vibrant colors are kept in both vibes, but they just give a different feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's super cool.
Yeah, some really interesting use of color. The one that I'm looking at the most is the one with the more magenta skirt, but on the back, the drape on the back of the skirt has that greenish tone
Yeah.
over the top of it, which is really neat. It gives it almost like an iridescent silk or iridescent fabric effect on a lot of this, the way the color play is done. So really, really neat use of color. And again, just a great way to show the models in multiple color and make the same model not so boring to paint because you get two great representations. And also they look good on the table if this were a board game or something where you had repetitious, models. This makes them a lot more interesting.
Cool.
For me, it's all about how do I make it fun to paint repetitious models.
Yeah.
Like if I'm painting 50 stormtroopers, it's like, good, suck my soul out. Like, are you kidding me? So how do you make that fun? With this Tau army that I'm doing, the models aren't identical, but they are. When you're painting your 9th crisis suit, there's not much difference in them.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, what do you do? So you either come up with a scheme that's simple but looks really good, and that helps drag you through because it's like, okay, the outlay of work is worth the effort.
Right.
Or you do something like this where you're like, okay, could I make it to where I utilize different color schemes on each model so that each one becomes more of a character without the whole army looking like a clown suit when I'm done?
Right.
Because that's always the hard part, is that if you do too crazy, then when you put it on the table, it's like, well, this doesn't even look like it goes together. It looks like, Technicolor vomit.
Yeah.
But these two work really, really well together, so that's a great job.
Yeah, super cool.
All right, that's it.
All right.
Oh man.
I'm making these guys pick the winner so that I don't have the stress of it anymore.
Jason, you have to pick one.
I don't have to do anything. I own the joint.
Jason, you're not going to pick one?
Oh, now you're making it. I see how this.
Wow.
Jason.
I see how this goes. You see how this works, Shaq?
I have
See how they treat me? I'm just trying to alleviate a little stress, and now they're piling it back
You
on.
can only pick one, Jason.
Holy moly.
Going back
Okay, I
slow.
can only pick one. I really like the story I made up on those two. There's some great storytelling here, for sure. That one's really good. Oh my gosh, so many are so good. So many are so good. Why do you do this to me, Chad? Can't we go back to where nobody knows how to paint? So much easier when you guys don't follow the rules.
We might get that one next month.
Oh yeah, vehicle, not a 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 vehicle, not the one person who paints a truck will win. That's the way that works, right? I don't know. There's so many that just speak to me that jump out. I really like the Not Conan one. Oh, that one's really good. That one's really good. That one's really good. You know, I'm gonna go with G flat.
G flat.
I'm gonna go with G flat just because I'm really like the way that the color scheme and the use of color and the storytelling with color changed so dramatically on this same model, right? Even the way that this person did their highlights is totally different. The way they treated light and color is totally different. You would not look at this and think the same person painted it, because there's enough of a difference in the way color was utilized on the left to achieve some really neat effects versus the way we've painted it on the right. So brushstrokes look different. This is a great way to like almost fool somebody into, hey, pick which one of these I painted. And then you go, no, I did both. And that's great because it shows a lot of expression with your brush style and the way that you paint in general. Yeah. The other one, the orcs that are done comic style and natural that Whedon did. Was it Whedon that did that?
Whedon, yep.
Those are also fantastic. So those are the ones that really grab me, are the ones where it's like, I can't believe the same person painted these and that they work so well together.
Yep.
G Flat, congratulations. Make sure you message Jabe in Discord.
Yeah, fantastic stuff, guys.
Up. All right, Gabe. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. I am going to go with I'm going to go with Natanicus. Was the two
the two like hazmat suit
the two
guys.
Hazmat suit guys.
Really good too.
That one was really cool.
That's really good too. Yeah, the Conan, that one, the ones that did the more monochromatic and then the colorful one, the statue one. There's so many good ones.
I think the big thing on this one for me was just that face.
The painting on the face.
On the face and just like, I don't know, they just gave two completely different vibes to me, which I think was just two different places, two different scenarios. It just seemed really, really cool. So I like this one a lot. That's my pick.
Gillenborn. That's my pick.
Nice.
Just because this is a really cool use of story, and I feel like obviously you did paint 3, but regardless, you have the story here, and it's really cool. I like the middle part of her story.
Yep.
So this really took the challenge, and
it's like a flip book animation. If you
Yeah.
flip the pages real quick, it just
It's
animates
super
and comes
cool.
to life. It's great.
Gilborn.
So many great entries. Again, you guys are killing it every month, challenge by challenge. It's remember, if it's your first time here watching us review or entering, remember these are not competitions. These are challenges, and really when we're picking the fun ones at the end, it's really the ones that speak to us the most. Everybody has done a knockout job here. There wasn't a single person that didn't understand the assignment. Everybody did a real good job. I hope everybody took something away from it to understand that, hey, there is a very powerful way to bring both creativity and interest into repetition. Because we face it so much in our hobby with models that are so similar. By the time you painted your 50th Space Marine, you're like, do I ever have to paint another Space Marine? Yeah. But there's still some really cool things you can do to make your next Space Marine as exciting as your first. So, you know, that's not to pick on Space Marine. Same thing with hazmat suit guys and all that stuff. But really awesome work. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. And like Christopher said, if you were picked and you're here in chat, make sure to message me on Discord. I am Jabe on our Discord.
Natanicus, G Flat, and Gillenborn.
Yep. So just message me. I've got you written down as well. So if I don't hear from you,
all right,
I've got
wait a
you
second.
written down.
Go over the vehicles and what's a vehicle and what's not a vehicle.
Yep. All right. So vehicles is the next challenge. So in Discord, we already have the challenge chat set up. Okay, vehicle. There's lots of questions on vehicles. So when we came up with the prompt, the idea was for it to be more of that
Sorry.
It was to be more of that like tank, car, truck, ship type vehicle.
Right.
There are a couple in there that are really clever. So already.
Right.
So essentially if it's more like a suit, there could be an argument that it's a vehicle, but that doesn't count. That's just a character. It's just a dude in a suit. So we're looking for you know, those trucks, the cars, the things that are transport things, you know, like that kind of a vehicle.
Right.
But be creative as well. Have some fun with it too. You know, if you don't love painting trucks and cars, there are some other cool things I've seen put out there that I'm very excited to see how they turn out. So,
Right. Hopefully that answers your question.
I know that's again, for these challenges, like, we're obviously looking for answers to the specific prompt, but also just have fun with it. That's the other part, is like enjoy painting it, enjoy doing
100%.
that. Try not to just like find something you already have that's like, this kind of works, just to enter. Like, pick it if you really like are excited to paint that for the challenge. And there's a couple that like are very clever, but I can tell that you're just excited to paint that. So definitely embrace that. We don't want to stifle that creativity on there. Yeah.
All right,
Hopefully that
Jason.
helps.
So now you're doing dark blue black.
Dark blue, black, one step.
Got it.
Over the top of all of this purple and yellow filter that we did, the pale yellow and the titanium white, and the royal purple. So we are going to now need to build a filter that will airbrush nicely. I don't want the dark blue black to be at what I call full volume. I don't want it right out of the bottle style, because it's going to be too opaque, right? The one steps have a lot of saturation. So I want to take, I'm going to use the one step medium here. I could just do water. I'm going to do one step medium. And I'm going to do probably 2 to 1 or something like that. And then just a little spritz of water. Like a so. Thin that all down. This is only thinning it for opacity. I just want to make sure that it is not super opaque, so that all of this color that we've put on the model, the purple and the yellow and the white, show through, so that we continue to maintain our value and get that zenithal, if you will, to have a big effect. And so that's kind of the thinness of it. My tattoo still shows through pretty well, but it gives a good amount of color. And because we're going to be atomizing it through the airbrush, that makes it even less opaque if we don't horse the trigger back too far, right? You can spray a lot of paint and kind of gain opacity, because you're technically putting multiple layers on at once if you spray a whole lot of paint. But if you feather the trigger and put very light coats on, then you're actually reducing opacity, because the airbrush creates little dots. And the less paint you apply, the fewer dots there are, the more space there is between them, the less opacity you get out of your paint. So remember, if you will, zoom in, and this is what we're going for. This is the color that we're going for. That chromatic black leaning towards, grayish green is what we're going for, and we get there from this. Okay?
It's a big jump.
Yeah, it's a huge jump.
Yeah.
All right, so we're just going to pour some of this in and risk it for the biscuit. It's this simple, chat.
You guys, it's amazing through the airbrush, though. Like what Jason's doing. I do this.
Pop us in a little bit closer. That way they can see what's happening as I'm filtering.
Yeah, like right there.
Yeah, something like that. About 4 inches away to start.
It's right there, yep. I've been using this mix-up to do the bake shadows, or put shadows back in. The same thing through the airbrush. I know I've mentioned that a couple times, but like that's how I've been doing my shadows back.
Yep.
It's really fun. It's just this, the dark blue black is just amazing for this. He's doing it off to the right there. You can see on his panel. There it is. Yep.
And all it does is alter the color at this point. It hides a little bit of your brightness, but if you're doing it right, it's not going to cover up too much.
Yeah.
So I'm not really hammering the trigger. I'm playing right at that area of paint, no paint, right? That way I can go back and layer it up if I need to. I can do more than one coat on this. The first coat, I'm just kind of feathering it on there and making sure that I'm covering all of my areas.
It took you a minute to build this thing, somebody's asking, right?
Oh yeah, holy cow.
The cleaning, the processing.
Yeah, it's not an easy model to put together. And you're trying to get an equal amount of this color on all the surfaces. So even on the shadow areas where you have just purple shining through, everywhere. This is the power of filtering. It allows you to control the way your shadow and highlight colors will act, right? And look, and then get, kind of sometimes some really cool surprise coloring, because you're not always going to know what your filter is going to create. And for me, that's the most fun, is not knowing and just trying out new things. This guy's so huge.
Yeah.
It's so dumb.
You can kind of see up on his chest right now, chat, where it's getting a little bit more blue, right?
Well, we're not wanting blue.
I'm sorry, more dark.
Yeah.
Using the dark blue black. That's where my mind was at. Mo says this is also a great way to alter skin tones.
100%.
Now he's doing that leg there. I love how you're holding that leg.
Yeah, it's just like a
Just a big
freaking
old
turkey ham
chicken
hock or
leg.
something, right?
It's kind of the only way you can kind of manipulate these models.
Yeah, you gotta just kind of manhandle it.
Graphic with Monument Hobbies Disney style turkey leg. Yeah, Craig's, it is big. It's a big one. Definitely a big boy. It's definitely starting to get darker.
Yeah, you just keep layering up until you get the color combo that you want, right? I'm going to pull over and say, okay, well, if I'm looking at this, I want to recreate that. It's hard to tell because I've done so much of the highlighting on the other one.
Yeah.
And the highlight starts to add back a lot of value and shine. So you don't want to overdo it with this step.
Yeah, chess boxing. He did this last night. He was building it.
It's been built over 3 days. It took me 3 sessions to get it built. 1 to do the legs and the posing of the legs, 1 to do the upper torso, and then 1 to do the guns. I did the guns last night. The guns went the quickest.
Yeah. How many pieces were those guns in?
Quite a few, because each one of the barrels is individual.
Oh, okay,
and
I was
they
gonna
have
say
5 barrels apiece. So the barrels are individual. It was easy, though. It wasn't that big of a deal.
Mo's asking, how many times did you cuss, Jason?
Only a few, actually, believe it or not.
Hey, Bailey, Ballistic Bailey, thank you so much for that sub. I missed it a little bit ago, but thank you so much. 7 months. We appreciate you. Yes, Jess, he's doing the same color scheme for his whole army. The same deal. And now you have a stream that you can reference to do the black armor. There you go. You see what we do for you, chat? It's all for you. Big motto. Put paint on motto. There you go. All of them, Mojo. Sensei Baka's asking, will you have any regular Tau grunts in there? Same scheme for them too?
Yeah, some play of it. You know, I don't know what I would do because I have like various Fire Warrior Pathfinders and whatever they call breachers and stuff like that I'm sure I'll do. And so there will be non-battle suit characters, or not characters, but you know, infantry. And I'll play around with those guys and see, you know, what I want to do for like the cloth colors and stuff that will match better with what we're doing here.
Sleepy Giss, thank you so much for that sub. And Bakamaru said, is Jason planning on any stripes or pops of color with the dark armor?
Yeah, we're doing white.
Jason's got some Vespids he painted up a while ago.
Yeah, we did the Vespids for Kill Team.
Yeah, Kill Team. I was doing the white workup and seemed to have gotten it mostly all bright, warm gray. Can I flip it upside down and filter a 1-to-1 mix of bright, warm gray and just warm gray for adding back in shadows?
Yeah.
Give it a whirl.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Sleepy. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you for that sub.
You can always go back and paint your shadows back in. It's teaching you to practice controlling the tightness of your spray if you're doing an airbrush. Right? Get used to working in close, because the closer you get to the model, the less your fan or your spray fans out and the less area it covers. And so the more you can kind of control it into a tighter area and keep it nice for, you know, when you're doing your highlights and adding more color onto a surface, to not overload it and not interfere with what you've created for your you know, your midtones or shadows or whatever it is that you're afraid of going over. Usually that's what happens, is that as you're spraying, your highlight gets to where it's a little bit overwhelming, and then you're left with, you know, this situation where your shadow isn't near as dark as you want it to be.
Look at that. Look at that. It barely fits on that base.
It almost isn't able, the way I have the feet splayed out, to put both of them big toes on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Looks pretty cool. You'd think they'd give it a bigger base.
This is the biggest one they make.
Is it?
Yeah. It's the biggest stock GW
Yeah.
base, I believe.
Ogre says, do I need to reduce my pressure when I go in closer? No.
No.
Just your finger pressure, right, Jason?
Yeah, you're just trying not to hit as much paint when you're in close, or keep the nozzle moving, right? You always hear me talk about making sure that you've got the nozzle feathering the paint. And so you'll see a lot of times when I'm painting that there will be the nozzle kind of moving like this, right?
Yep.
Like I'm throwing the airbrush around almost. And the reason for that is, good God, this is so hard to use. Here, we're just going to grab his arm and hope that stays.
That's stressful.
Hope the super glue is good.
Gee. kind of no way else to do that.
Not with this guy.
Chess boxing, I don't think any kind of handle would be able to handle this.
Nope. None that I've ever seen.
Danger Boy says, I just popped a frameable into its frame and it looks so good, not even done yet. Nice.
It is so awesome when you are set to make that happen, right? When you got enough color on it to pop it in the frame to get a feel for like what it's going to look like.
Yeah.
It feels so good. Now I can go back and use this to darken up some of the areas because this is a dark color, so I can go back and hit some of the areas I want to darken up if I still see too much brightness, but this is looking really well.
I mean, it looks dope.
I grab him by his leg again. The hardest thing is making sure I hit everywhere. The cool thing is that more of the purple will show through on him because these areas are much bigger.
I was just about to say, it is, you're going to get a lot more shadows because the thing is just shadowing itself. So you'll get a lot more of
color.
that.
So the purple, it allows the purple to show through more on the feet and these back sides underneath. So that's a lot of fun. Whereas the rest of the models are just so small.
Did you pin the feet on there? Or
Oh, hell no. This base is only like 3 millimeters deep. You can't pin that.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I think that's looking pretty good.
Yeah. So can you kind of recap a little bit?
No.
I will recap. No, I'm not. He's on mic. Recap for us, Jason.
Nope.
I tried, chat. You're screwed.
You're screwed.
Rewind.
Well, you saw me take this from start to finish, where we were able to do the base coat from the black primer up through the royal purple, and after the royal purple, doing the pale yellow over the top. And that's really where your brightness comes through, so you play with that, get the value set up on the model so that you get this kind of panel modulation going. And then you just come in with this filter over the top. We did the titanium white over that as well, just to give it a little bit more punch in the bright spots. And then once you're done with that, it's literally doing the filter, and I'm just layering the filter up and letting it kind of act like if I were doing panel highlights on a tank right now, and adding more color in where I feel like I want to have a little bit more contrast or have it look a little dirtier maybe. And just kind of spray it. And if you spend enough time during your highlight portion, then this portion doesn't take much at all. This portion is literally just put the filter over it because all the brightness and darkness was set up by our purple, pale yellow, and white. And so now you're not really having to worry much or do much to get the values set. And the biggest thing for this guy, like I said, is just making sure that I get color everywhere I want it. and not grab wet paint parts is more of a fear here, because there's really nothing other than these guns on the arms that doesn't have any color on it that I worry about. Yeah, it's very scary, not gonna lie.
I guess you could always fix it if it did something.
Just a model.
That's right.
Like any other model.
Gilborn says, the fact that you could go from Prime to this in 1.5 hours is a testament to why everyone should have an airbrush.
100%. Yeah, I mean, the airbrush is a tool when you are doing large models that is invaluable. There's just no other way around it.
In Droth, it's resin. This is a resin model. This ain't plastic. That's why it's so heavy.
And I feel like that's going to give us a really good head start towards this. The smaller the model, the more contrast we're going to have, because our dark and our bright colors are much more close together, because the model just doesn't take up as much space. But, you know, the thing we're missing here is the bright edges. So once we start doing the edge highlighting on this, it'll really start to come alive and match up to what we've got here. But overall, the general, as I'm looking at, pop in close.
Yeah.
Because what you want to look at is, like on this shield, you know, you go from a good dark to a mid-tone fuzzy bright, and that's what we have all over here.
Yeah.
So, you know, we've got a really good look going on.
Yeah, interesting. Does the shoulder plate look upside down to anyone else, says Spaznak?
I will kill you. Nothing is upside down on this model. Not a thing. I followed the rules.
You did?
Yeah, I read the instructions, man. Did it right.
Well, that's what you were complaining about, is that they're not correct. Some of these portions were not mislabeled.
Oh my god, it was horrible. All of the part numbers were wrong. There wasn't a single one that was right. It became a game when I was putting together to see, are any of the part numbers actually labeled right? No, not a single one.
I guess there was a question earlier. Right? This is a testament to that. Doing this with a brush would definitely be a little bit tough.
I mean, you could do it, right? The filter, you could definitely do it, but you know, when you're doing large models like this with a brush, you're always up against a problem, right? You are going to have 100% better time with an airbrush doing any kind of large walker, bigger vehicles, you name it.
Yeah.
All of these models will benefit from you having the ability to cover large amounts of space quickly. And with a nice blend, right? Because the big thing that we're not talking about here is that the airbrush just blends all this instantaneously. You working out your blends with a brush on this model would be an absolute death sentence for most of the modelers out there, because it's just like, wow, that's not worth it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? I think if I layer up anymore, I'm going to over darken parts, and I don't want to do that. So,
yeah, because I guess you run the risk of it getting too dark.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's where I've fallen into it, where I don't thin enough. You can always darken something. You can't take it back, right?
Well, you can. I mean, I can re-highlight areas.
But that seems like a lot of work.
It is a lot of work.
To go back and then to go back again.
Yep. Yeah, it is a lot of work to go back and redo the stuff if you don't like, you know, the vibrancy of it. But that's why you spend so much time at your underpainting layer, you know, with the pale yellow and the other colors, because that's going to really give you more of the setup.
Yeah.
And make it built for success, if you will. You know, I'm coming back in and adding some darkness on some of these spots, but by and large, it looks pretty good.
The what are you gonna do for those weapons, you think?
What do you mean?
I've noticed you didn't paint them, obviously. Are you gonna do them more like steel, or are you gonna do them the purple, or?
I don't know yet. You know, like the missile racks and stuff, and the chicken legs are all be done in the same like Payne's gray metallic, I think.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna do on this guy.
Oh, right, Payne's gray. Yep.
Right, he'll have a white head like this guy does. We haven't done any of the white markings on this guy, but the idea is that we'll do like white markings, painted stripes or whatever we want to on it eventually to give more contrast. We could do that on the shoulder plates. The top of these shoulder plates could become white very easily.
Yeah.
And give it a pop of contrast up tall. So.
Okay, making those white would be cool.
Yeah, all sorts of things we can still do. Right now, it's really just worrying to make the filter look right, and I feel really good about it. The brightness equals the brightness on the small crisis suit, and the darkness is good for the contrast against the small crisis suit too. Yeah. So, we've got a good equality between them. It's always tough because this one has so much bigger areas of color, where this is all broken up. Because at scale, the small models are just going to have more things to look at. Because these panels, even though you have a panel on a big surface, it's really just a big surface. There's not a way to bust that up too much. So very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a big model. A lot of potential on it. This technique seems like a good way to camouflage, if I was so inclined.
Well, you can use this for camouflage where you paint the camo on and then filter the color over the top. That's a thing that a lot of people use in the scale modeling world.
To kind of blend it all?
Well, yeah, because you can do very subtle camo that way as opposed to painting the camo colors like over the top, right, where it can get out of control.
Yeah.
You can paint all the camo like splotches in your underpainting stage, and then when you filter over the top, it's almost muted. Well, it is not almost, it's muted underneath, so it can give a really, really cool look.
Beard Science says looking good. Droth is asking, is that a Monument airbrush?
No, this is a Iwata HPCS. But we have our Grex sitting right here on the desk too. It just needs to be broken out and cleaned extensively. And I feel like we got everything.
Yeah, I guess there's still some dark spots on there too on the bottom when you flip it over like that. Some black on there.
Oh, yeah, I mean tons.
Yeah.
Where we're going to do the Payne's Gray.
Right.
This one was big enough that I didn't have to hit it with the whole color, whereas the other model I
Right.
hit everything with color. This one's big enough to avoid doing that. This you can,
Well,
I could technically like airbrush the metallic bits.
Yeah,
Like the
so
back
much
of the
shadow.
chicken legs and stuff because there's so much space to work with.
Chonky boy.
Most definitely.
It's more of a testament to that glue sticking to that base when you flip it over and you're just holding it by the base. It's actually the biggest testament.
Yeah, our Profix is really, really good. It was kind of wonky when I was back there priming it, and I'm like, oh, check this out. And I turned it upside down, just holding it by the base, and I'm spraying the bottom of it. I was like, well, that worked. I didn't even think about the danger in doing that.
Of it shattering.
Yeah.
When is it time to know to upgrade your airbrush, Jason?
The upgrade? What do you mean?
Yeah, so if you're like starting out, the better question is, where do you start when you're buying an airbrush? Should you buy high or buy low to test, right? Like the cheaper airbrushes versus the more expensive.
This is always one where I err on saying you buy what your wallet can afford, what your wallet and your passion and want can afford. That's a question for you and your fiduciary responsibility. You know, I'm never going to dissuade somebody from buying the best machine they can right out of the gates, because having a good tool is always going to present a better learning experience than having a mediocre one, right? But good tools are expensive. And so if you're starting and you don't know if airbrushing is for you, you're you don't have a bank vault filled with, cash, then the Masters airbrush that I use at home has been great. It was I want to say it was $125 on Amazon for the compressor. I needed a compressor, and for the house when we built the studio at the house, and because my other compressors are all up here at the shop and over at the factory, and so I was like, well, if I'm going to do that, then I might as well just get one that has a brush. So I did. And I said, even if the brush is throwaway, I can still prime with it. It turns out people have watched me on stream do detail work with that Masters brush.
Yeah.
Right? We painted an entire Conquest Knight on a horse, and we were doing like detail airbrushing on cloaks and the flag and the garments and the horse barding and all that stuff. I was basically airbrushing lots of colors nested within each other with a Masters airbrush just to test it out. And it never failed me once. So, that was a testament to that can be a good brush. Now, can I say that everyone you're going to buy is going to do as well as mine? No. Yeah. I don't guarantee that. I don't have any skin in that game. But you can spend $125 and get a compressor that you'll use for a long time. Yeah. That compressor has blown me away because I leave it on accidentally and it never runs, meaning it has 0 leaks, no bleed, and it never runs. Like I left it on for a month and didn't ever use it, and went to turn it on to use it, and it was already on. And I was like, this thing never runs. It was still full at pressure, and the whole nine had been sitting there for 30 days.
That's very surprising.
Yeah. And so I was like, okay, that's a testament to that little compressor for sure.
For a month?
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
For it to have not triggered once.
Not once that I can remember. It might have done it like in the middle of the night when I was in bed and wasn't anywhere around it, but I never heard it. I sit in my office at home a lot, and it never has triggered. So for $125, buy that compressor, and then you happen to get a brush and you can play with it. But the other side of that coin is that if you have the money, buy an Iwata HPCS. It's a great brush. It's going to be whatever, $200 or something, $300 or something like that. So you're going to spend quite a bit of money for just the brush, but you're going to get a heavy duty brush that'll last you for a long time if you take care of it. But again, as you're learning to take care of a brush, as you're working through all that stuff and learning how our brushes work, there's a world where, you're going to want to make sure that you are not destroying something expensive. So if you buy a Harder Steamback, top of the line, spend $400 on it, and then the first time you take it apart, you de-thread it and break something or bend the tip of the needle, that's probably a bad idea. So buying the master setup helps you get used to how to take an airbrush apart, and if you bust it, you can buy another one for $40. Right? Whole nother brush. So.
Ultra's great. Coxie, they're great. Airbrushes. Harder Steamback makes good ones.
Your airbrush has no name? It's no namium. It's harder in Chinesium, yeah. Your Badger Patriot 105 has been a workhorse. I had a Patriot 105 for a lot of years, and Badger used to make a good brush. They're just a hard company to deal with for parts and such. So,
yeah, I use the Badger 105. I have a Harder and Steamback too. They're great.
Jimmy the Saint, if you have that Masters compressor and it's worked like that for 4 years and has worked like what I'm talking about, I mean, that's worth its weight in gold. That's for $125. Understand, you can spend $125 for a big compressor from Home Depot that won't last you 9 months.
Yeah.
And it's made by a company that's more reputable than Masters, And so, yeah, I think that's a hell of a deal. And I got the one with a tank on it, right? It's got a 1.5 liter tank on it.
Yeah.
And it was $125 with a brush. I will tout that all day long. Now, I may be making a mistake because I may have gotten a fluke good one, but I think $125 for a hobby style compressor that's quiet, that you can use in an apartment. It has a lot of bonuses to it, and it has been a workhorse. It holds it. I spray it 22 psi all the time. That's my target. I have to set it at like 28.
Oh, the Masters one?
Because as soon as you pull the trigger, it reduces the pressure.
Right.
It can't work. It can't hold pressure under load, right? Because it's not as beefy a motor as the one we have here.
Right.
Like this one we set at 22, and it never fluctuates. When you press the trigger, the needle doesn't even move.
Yeah.
And it only has a 2.5 liter tank. So it's not the tank that's really reinforcing. It does some. But the masters just can't work under load. Like when you're calling for air and it's having to immediately fill the tank back up, the motor can't keep consistent pressure. So you have to overpressurize it and set it to like 25, 26, 27, 28 in order to get 22 out of it consistently. And as soon as you pull the trigger, it's going to be more pressure and then it normalizes. So it does have that little idiosyncrasy, but I never load the brush, point it at the model, pull the trigger. I always pull the trigger off on the paper and then go to the model. So it's usually not an issue.
Does Jason have any tips for learning airbrush easier from techniques we should practice?
Paint scar, sure. Yeah, we talk about it all the time. The first is just to practice that paint no paint zone, right? So that you get your brush, and as you push the trigger, you get air, right? As you pull the trigger back, you get paint. And there is a spot where you have air, and then as you start pulling, you start to get paint. And you want to learn how to play right in that zone of where you're not, where it's just air, and then you're just adding paint to air. Don't just pull the trigger back and get lots of paint and learn to paint there. That's going to cause you lots of bad habits. That's why people have problems with airbrushes, spider webbing, when you start thinning your paint for filtering like we just did. This is ultra thin paint, right? This is like water. Right? The way it runs. It's very watery. And if you were to load this in your airbrush and just pull the trigger back, it's going to splatter all over the place. So what helps you to not splatter is to be able to ride that spot where color just starts showing up as you pull the trigger back, and then be able to move just a hair forward and a hair back from that and get used to covering that way. And then only pull the trigger back all the way whenever you're priming or base coating, when you need all that paint and it's not super thin. But for layering and filtering, you're going to be in this kind of mid zone. So get used to doing that, and then get used to just breaking your airbrush down and learning how to repair it and clean it. But that's the biggest thing is getting used to using the airbrush correctly, which is air on, paint off, air off, right? So practice that. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So trigger down, start spraying air, right? Trigger back, start spraying paint. If you let off here, then air stops and the needle goes forward and it will capture paint on the needle, and then the next time you pull the trigger, you get spatter. So air on, paint off, air off, right? So you're pushing down, pulling back, letting it go forward, and then letting it go up. And make sure that you practice that in like repeatedly, because for the bulk of what you're spraying, that's how that works. Air on, paint off, air off. Don't go air on, air off, paint off. Yeah. Right? Because that'll cause splatter. It's down, back, forward, up. And if you can get used to making that your muscle memory, you'll have really, really good painting experience, because you won't be fighting tip dry and you won't be fighting splatter near as much. And those are the most frustrating things that cause problems, because as soon as you get tip dry, you start hammering the trigger back more and more to get the same amount of paint. And then the tip clears, and then you get a big burst of paint that causes a blotch on your model. So you'll get inconsistent. You won't get this smooth coloring, right? Had I been filtering and then had that happen, you'd get that blockage clear, and then you get a big splatter of paint. So it's going to either be darker or lighter where you don't want it. Whereas I get a really nice smooth gradient over everything here because I have a really consistent spray. So those are the big things. Practicing your line work on a piece of paper to where you load it up. I don't have color in this, unfortunately, but, going back and going on a card and getting in close and being able to paint lines and keep the line thickness the same is good, but it's not really as necessary for us until later when you're doing detail work, like what you saw me doing earlier, where I was painting bright lines across edges on this thing. But
why do you take the back off, Droth is asking? Is the end cap missing on that brush?
Huh?
The end cap missing on that brush?
Oh, I take them off so that I can easily adjust the needle, right? Because I'm constantly unscrewing and pulling the needle back to clean it, right? Like when I'm done, it will build up color where it hits the back O-ring. You'll get a little bit of paint build up there. And so you just clear that off, and that ensures that if after you leave it sitting that, you can make sure that the needle travels well. But yeah, I just leave the back stock off so that I can adjust the needle as I need to live. It's not really necessary to have it on there. All my brushes are the same way. They all have that off, because I'd rather have my ability to get to loosen the needle and pull it back and forth when needed than to have the tailstock on. I don't ever use that little brake at the back of the tailstock that
Oh.
that keeps you from pulling the trigger back, because I feel like that's very limiting. But there is a set of training wheels on most airbrushes, which is this little adjustment at the tail. Let me grab the Grex one that I have. Right. So if your brush has this, not all of them do, but if your brush has this little thing that can be twisted at the tailstock, what that does is as you twist it and turn it in, you can see it get closer to the body. And then as I unscrew it, it gaps and gives me a bigger gap between the body. So when it's unscrewed all the way to the back, the needle will travel the whole distance it's supposed to. So you can go from light spray to heavy spray. When I twist this all the way in, it will only let the needle travel a little bit, and so it'll act as a set of training wheels, so you can't get more paint than you really need. It's used as a detailing setup when people are just doing very light amounts of paint. That way they can always hammer the trigger all the way back, but it doesn't go back as far, so it only gives you a little bit of paint. So it can be neat for people learning how to work close and detailing, because it can assure you that you never accidentally pull the trigger back too much and get too much paint. But I find it very limiting, because I'm always moving from light paint to heavy paint as I go. I'm kind of pulsing it so that I can get the right amount of paint in the right area all the time, so that I never use it. But it can be neat to try out if you're new painting.
It's great for heavy-handed guys like me, says Mo.
Unless you drop it, do not leave those off. And if you have any tendency to drop your airbrush, because a bent needle equals bad days. Rattle can, if you drop the brush and it bends there at the chuck, it doesn't do anything, because it can only bend behind the chuck, and you can always pull it out and put it in anyway. I'm not condoning dropping your brush, but it doesn't hurt the needle to bend it at that past the chuck, right? Danger Boy, thanks.
Yeah, the little adjustment. Why do you adjust your needle, though? Just to let more out, right?
Why do I adjust my needle?
No, I'm sorry. Just in general, like that adjustment, right? So when I pull the needle back and then lock it into place.
Well, yeah, here, let's put it on, and I'll show you how it works. I don't know if it'll screw. Oh, no, it won't screw on. It'll go on this one.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just curious.
This one's hammered. This is the one I can't really show you, unfortunately. Let me see if I have another.
Oh, Bernie just said gifted subs. Hey, thank you.
Woohoo!
I was just curious on what would be the reason why you would do your needle back in the chuck.
What do you mean?
I guess I don't know what I'm asking, but like, if I bring the needle back a little bit in the mechanism and then tighten it.
Well, this has a brake, and the brake just means that the needle can't go back as far. It has a pin in here,
okay.
And the butt end of the needle hits the pin. If the pin's all the way to the back, then the needle can travel all the way and you get full spray. Okay. If you put this pin, if you screw it in and the pin goes forward, then when you pull the trigger, eventually the trigger stops before it's supposed to.
Right.
Because the needle hits the pin, which means you can't pull the needle back any further, and the needle can't enlarge the aperture to let more paint through.
Right.
So it limits you. It's a brake.
Gotcha.
It's like having a sissy brake on the car, or a speed limiter is what it is. It's a speed limiter. That's the right way to say it. It's a speed limiter, so you can't go full speed. You can only go whatever. If you put it all the way in, you can barely get any paint at all, right? So maybe if you're doing like little eyes, you can go and barely get any paint.
Oh, that way, you like if you're heavy-handed, you can just
like Mo was saying, he's heavy-handed, so he may use it because he and for people who have less dexterity in their finger for that pull, it's great because then you don't overextend. Like some people have a hard time just getting it dialed in and making micro adjustments, right? And because depending on the brush you're using, the cheaper brushes don't have the resolution. They go from off to on. They almost feel like a single action brush, you know. The better brushes like Iwata, Harder, Steenbeck, Grex, they have better resolution, more taper to the needle. So as you pull, you get better action from the amount of paint, you know. And so they are more forgiving anyway. That's why a lot of the better brushes like the Iwata don't even have that built into them,
right?
Because they have more resolution on the trigger, so they're more forgiving if you have a heavier pull. You're not going to go from off to lots of paint, you know.
Gotcha.
I was just doing some zenithal prominently while listening. If I'm getting a little bit of graininess on the taupe, should I turn down the pressure? Is that drying in the air? The pressure really isn't the issue in most cases. If you're spraying in that 20 to 30 range, it's going to be distance to the model that is the problem. You could also try thinning it if the paint's too thick, right? Because the distance of the model, if you're spraying, you'll notice like even when I was spraying this guy, that I'm in like this most of the time, which is, if I can show you, I'm like that. You know, if I'm spraying this area, I'm like 2 inches away. And then when I want to do a feathering, I'm back further. The way it feathers is by spreading the dots out.
Well,
but I'm thinning my paint way down if I'm back this far, because then the dots don't dry in midair and become physical circles on the model. When you're back this far with thin paint, the dots are spread out, but when they hit the model, they bleed because the paint's so thin. So you can be too far back spraying with paint that isn't thin enough, and then the dots are going to stay dots, and you'll actually get texture and spotting. So you can thin your paint if you want to stay back far, if you're wanting to do that kind of blending back far, or you can just work closer to the model. When I'm priming, I'm typically 2 to 3 inches away from the model, so pretty close. And then you just need to make sure that you're constantly moving the brush around, right? Because when you're working that close to the model, if you just pull the trigger back in one location, you know, then you're going to get too much paint loading up that location, and it's gonna spread and pool. So you'll notice, like, when I'm working close, I'm constantly doing this. It's not because my hand shakes. It's because I'm constantly moving the brush in a circular pattern counterclockwise for me. You may do it, I don't know if you're right-handed, you may do it clockwise. I don't know. But I move counterclockwise, right? So to exaggerate, I'm moving the brush like this all the time. It may look like I'm just shaking. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just go left to right, depending on if I'm in a tight space that won't let me do the circle. But I'm constantly moving the brush. That way, no spot on the model gets paint for longer than a fraction of a second as I'm moving around. So that makes puddles don't form. When puddles don't form, air can't move paint. So it just sticks where it goes as long as you're moving. So one of the things, like I said, practice, you know, on paint, paint off, air off, and also as you get to where you're painting, moving the brush around so that you'll see that you're covering the area in a cloudy fashion, not lines. Brr, 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 brr. You know, you're just covering it lightly and making the needle move so that you don't get buildup of paint anywhere. You get very consistent application when you move the brush more.
The mo you know.
The mo you know, we know a mo. Yeah, no spider webbing and stuff like that. All right.
That's a big model, Jason.
All right. Good, November. Glad we could help. Yeah, test it closer to the model. You'll find that it'll work a lot better for you. And just be careful with how you're moving, because, of course, closer to the model means that the paint travels less, so in the same amount of time, more paint hits the same spot than further back. So just be careful with that. All right. Well, thanks for sitting around and watching some paint dry, taking part in the challenge. We had a great challenge review, some great models today. We got this behemoth freaking colored up and ready to go. Oh. So now I have 80 million years of edge highlighting on him, but it's going to be an awesome model. So
edge highlighting is going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And, you know, a whole army of these dudes is going to be pretty bitching with that chromatic black.
Well, you technically have most of your army sitting on the table right now.
That's only 3 models.
Well, this is 7,500 points, or 750 points, isn't it?
Yeah, but still a lot more models.
But still, that's a lot of your army.
These guys are only like 60 points.
They're 60 points?
The dude with the big railgun's like maybe 65
They must
points.
Have just smaller points in 40K.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like looking at these guys. I'm like, you're kind of, I mean, if this guy's 750.
He's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot.
Well, because he has a void shield type thing on it
and
stuff like that too. So it's a Titan. It's a Titanic unit.
Gotcha.
So they cost a lot because
they're
like a mini game within the game. It's hard to pull them down, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember how much health he's got, like 20 hit points or something like that. I don't remember.
Yikes.
So he has to take a lot of wounds.
It's like the Stampa.
Yeah.
The Stampas have their 800 points.
So, but everything else is fairly, I don't know. I haven't seen 11th edition points, so I can't really speak to it. But
yeah, I mean, great job, everybody, also, as well. That is a big model, Jason.
It's a beast, right?
It is. It's cool, though. I don't know. I love these kinds of models. Like, you were able to get this amount of painting done in the stream, and I think that definitely was worth it. So
it's awesome. Because, you know, when you do filtering like this, it can really save you time when you're doing the airbrush, because, you know, this is what turns out to be 4 or 5 different colors on this model. I didn't have to clean up 4 or 5 different colors and
Yeah.
spend time detailing 4 or 5 different colors. I could literally sketch with the zenithal
Yeah.
and black and white. Basically, I use the purple and the pale yellow, but you can literally do your sketch, and then the filter blends the sketch, so you don't have to be super awesome with your airbrushing on the
Yeah.
contrast and sketch side. The filter blends the sketch and gives the color, and now it looks like you've done a lot more work than you really have, and sets you up for the finish line being a lot closer when you do it with an airbrush like this. You can't leave it like this because it feels too airbrushed, right? When you see military scale model, people do this where they underpaint and get their contrast sketch done, and then they filter over the top. This is a very military scale modeling way to paint. Then they also then go back and do oil washes and dry brushing and all of the highlighting and weathering that goes over the top, so at the end of the day you don't really ever know there's airbrushing done. That's the goal with this kind of a thing, is to not really ever feel like an airbrushed model.
Yeah. I mean, just even painting big models is fun. I'm all about painting big models, Jason.
I know. I thought this would excite you, which is why I was so excited to bring it today.
It is. I was very intently watching the airbrush for these kinds of models. I just need to airbrush more.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Glad you had a good time with this. Glad there was some stuff and some inspiration to get done. Hopefully, they got inspired to get a master's rig. Good. I don't get any money for that. Tell them.
We need to make affiliate
You
links.
can't tell them because they're on Amazon, and Amazon doesn't care, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, thanks so much for hanging out, everybody. If you're new here, make sure to hit the follow or the subscribe button on the platform you're watching. Remember, we do this Monday through Friday from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. Chris will be gone tomorrow. It's me and Jen for the Friday show, so we'll look forward to seeing you then. But we'll be back 2 p.m. Monument Standard Time tomorrow for some more awesome stuff. I don't know what I'll be working on. I do want to finish up this guy, but I'm also excited about this. I don't know. Now I got too many choices, so who knows? I have so many choices.
That's not a bad place to be.
No, I could do the broadside. There's too many choices. So anyway, we'll be working on some communist fish people and doing some amazing armor. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. Chris is going to find us somebody to raid, so stick around for some more hobby goodness on your Thursday evening. Don't do anything we wouldn't do, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow. Adios, gang.